ROK Cup USA, featuring racing from coast to coast. Fast, friendly, and fun. Come join us at ROK Atlanta, ROK Pacific, Florida Winter Tour, or ROK Vegas. ROK Cup USA, home of ROK Vegas and the original Florida Winter Tour. ROK Cup USA, serious fun.
When it comes to innovation on the track, Odenthal Racing Products leads the pack. From the highly popular EasyGP camera mounts to our tough case to GoPro case, racers everywhere trust ORP for strength, reliability, and precision. We're proud to be the #1 engine mount manufacturer in the USA. And with our new Easy Bumper Retainer System, you won't get caught out with a failed bumper bolt again. Odenthal Racing Products. Lead or get left behind.
High-end floors for high-end lifestyles. At TSG 5-Star, we connect the most respected hardwood, laminate, and vinyl flooring brands with the designers of showrooms who create unforgettable spaces. TSG 5-Star, your source for premium flooring and exceptional service.
Every great race starts with preparation. Every great plan starts with purpose. Daisa Alvarez, financial representative. Proud sponsor of Nicholas Bazzani.
Four drivers, 12 turns, one goal. This is Power Drive Vegas.
Welcome to ROK Vegas, the big show, ready to take to the track, and there is no bigger show in the world than here at Vegas. Whether you're talking about a stage or you're talking about a racetrack, Vegas is the place to be, and that is the way we like it. DJ Clark up here in the commentary booth alongside Rob Howden. Jackson Lambros will be joining us from pit lane a little bit later on, but Rob, it's all been leading to this. It is the final day. It is the finals across the board. We've had LCQs. We've had pre-finals. We've had heat races. But this is where the money is made.
And that's what you roll here to Vegas for, right? To try to come away as a ROK Vegas champion. 4 days of action with practice, qualifying, all those heat races, and of course the pre-finals and the LCQs for the packed VLR junior and senior categories. But it all comes down to Sunday. They've got warm-up done, so they've cleared out the cobwebs from a night in Las Vegas. Time to go to work. And we know how much this track has changed over the course of the weekend. Did the mechanics hit it right? What are they going to do in terms of chassis setup? Where are you on tire pressure? This is it right now, though. It all comes down to the races today.
And we've heard a lot about this track gripping up over the course of the weekend. Obviously, a temporary circuit here in the parking lot at the Rio Hotel. And I was talking to Jason Ewers a little bit earlier, kind of mentioning that it may be over gripping at this point. What does that mean for some of these drivers? What does that mean for some of the fans who may not be familiar with what that means in karting?
Well, when you're running at a regular racetrack that gets run on regularly, yeah, the rubber gets down, the grip is always there. When we roll in here on Wednesday, it's a parking lot. It's dusty, it's dirty, and throughout the entire days as it gets cleaned up, the rubber keeps going down. We keep laying down a layer upon layer upon layer where that rubber then gets to grip with the tires. Depending on the temperature of the day, the grip will come up. I don't know if we're going to over grip that much because the guys are able to dial grip out. You loosen the card up a little bit, you soften it up a little bit. Some carts want different things, but the mechanics know what they're doing. They'll be able to get this cart exactly the way they want it to be. The one thing about the Levanto tires, they do take a couple of laps to get to that optimum temperature, that optimum grip. Think about like 8 to 10 laps. Midway through these races, is when we're going to see the big lap times come.
Well, and it's good that you bring up the Levanto tires. 2 sets over the course of this weekend, and standard sort of operating knowledge is to use the sticker set, the new set for this final race today. Run on the old ones throughout the entirety of the weekend, and then switch on over to those new sticker tires for today.
Yeah, we did see a couple of drivers, though, who were on the cut line for the LCQ in the final heat race, throw their sticker tires on to try to move their way up, maybe not have to run the LCQ. And there were drivers, of course, in the LCQ. I'm putting on sticker tires for sure, so I'm going to be able to make the main event. They'll be at a little bit of a disadvantage here today, but remember, they're already starting outside the top 30.
Yeah, and that LCQ, by the way, is positions 31 through 40 in those VLR positions. So we'll get to those a little bit later in the day. Schedule for the day, let's go ahead and run you through that. It is an expanded time frame on these races. We have been racing 8 minutes plus 2 laps. For the Micro and Minis, it's been 6 minutes plus 2 laps. For everybody else here, Micro and Mini, it's now a 10-minute race plus 2 laps. And for all the other series, it is 14 minutes plus 2 laps. Physical attrition, mental attrition, and just beating and banging on each other for that long, this really amps up the stakes.
Well, the interesting thing is during practice, you can do qualifying simulations. You know how long you go. You never have a chance to do a simulation of a race that much longer, right? So that's the thing right now. That's kind of the wild card for a lot of the mechanics here. What do we do in terms of how the car is going to handle later in the race? Tire pressure is obviously the big thing you always use. You can go lower on tire pressure, obviously now, because it's going to take longer for that tire to come up to temperature. You know, in qualifying, you go a bit higher in tire pressure so to make sure it hits early. That's the wild card. Again, that's what I love about the fact that all the mechanics, they play a major role in the cart that each driver gets to take out for the main event.
Yeah, and there's so much communication that needs to go on between driver and mechanic to make sure it's in that operating window. And to your point about making sure this comes up, we've seen a couple of drivers over the course of this weekend look really strong at the end of races, making those big last lap moves to move themselves up into position. I think it's safe to assume that if they looked strong on those last couple of laps, they're probably going to be a cart to watch in the second half of these longer heat races.
That's one of the things I watched for the heat races. Who is coming on at the very end? You know, the end of that 8 minutes plus 2 laps. Who's going to keep getting better when we stretch it out to now 14 minutes plus a couple laps? It's a much longer race. Physical attrition, you said, we're going to have a look at the physique and the fitness of these drivers to go a long way. I've run a race like this before on this particular parking lot. The last couple laps are tough. You're waiting for that checkered flag. But the drivers who are fit are the ones that are going to have their minds right when they're going wheel to wheel. If you're tired over the last couple laps, when you're battling for a race win, you're at the disadvantage. For the drivers who are in the gym all year long and who are racing all year long, they're still good to go over those last couple laps.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see who of those one-off entries here coming in this time are going to be able to make that challenge, maybe putting in the extra gym hours to kind of compensate for not running the full time. As we said, we're just a couple of minutes away from the national anthem and getting things started off, but let's go ahead and run you through the schedule for today. At about 9:40, we'll have ROK GP Junior headed to the track. Following them, it'll be ROK Mini. That, again, is one of those shorter sessions. The younger karters, we don't want to put too much physical exertion on them. Then we head on into ROK Shifter Pro, and then it is the VLR Masters and Super Masters. At 11:35, we'll round out the morning with VLR Junior. Take a little break for lunch, make sure everybody's good to go. We'll come back at about 1:15. These are all Pacific time, by the way. That'll be VLR Senior, then ROK Micro will head to the track, Shifter Masters and Super Masters, and then, of course, we end the day with ROK SV Pro, one of the big calling cards of this weekend, that new category.
One of the things I think is very interesting, 50 drivers in the field. We've saw guys like Jake Drew be up front, be super strong. Interesting in morning warm-up that just wrapped up here. Who was the quickest driver? None other than Ryan Norberg. He's been struggling a little bit throughout the weekend. Again, remember with the raffle, everybody getting a brand new engine last night they're used today. Like you brought your engine back at the end of every day. He's got a brand new power plant. Obviously, it feels good for him. They've got the carburetor dialed in. He was P1 in warm-up. He's going to start deeper in the main event. It's a longer run. Don't count out Ryan Norberg when he's P1 in warm-up.
Well, never count out Ryan Norberg to begin with, but we look out onto the grid right now, getting ready for the national anthem, and we are about ready to head down to that. This is, of course, is how we will start the weekend. Then, of course, we will get on into it, and then we've got a little interview with some of the ROK Cup folks. So they'll be able to head to that as we get ready to tick on over here for the national anthem. About 15 seconds away before we get into that magic moment. And this, of course, will be the signature moment starting off the weekend. It's what we always like to see in the world of racing. So we are going to send down to the grid and get ready for that national anthem. National anthem completed, pre-race festivities done. It is about time to go racing. We'll get these ROK GP juniors out onto the track and get ready to set. What's about the mentality that they have to have here at this point? It's got to be pretty cutthroat.
And this is what I like about these major events, right? You test all the drivers in terms of how they are mentally to get ready to go. Everybody has their own kind of rituals they go through. They're hanging out a little bit. For the most part, they're sitting in their carts on the grid right now, trying to relax. They're planning things. They know how they want the race to go. You can't overplan the opening corner. As we know, if you go with a plan, oftentimes it goes awry, so you got to be ready to attack. But it's about getting focused, relaxing, and just getting back to work.
Yeah, and that's really just kind of the feeling that you have to have. And we always like to say that if you're nervous, if you have that adrenaline, you're actually on the back foot. You want to be as calm, cool, and collected as possible. Let the race come to you and just let it be relaxing. If you try to overdrive the cart a little bit with that adrenaline, it's going to throw you off.
I do think, personally, for me and for many drivers, that warm-up lap as you're cruising out, you had some nerves on the grid, you're fist pumping the guys getting ready to go, but the minute that air starts blowing through your suit a little bit, you're in that warm-up lap, you're focused and ready to go. You come out of that final corner, you're watching the flag man, and at that point, your mind goes straight onto the race itself.
Yes, it does. But before we get our minds to the race itself, we've got a very special guest who has been able to catch up with Jackson Lambros down in pit lane. Jackson, take it away, my friend.
And DJ, we've gotten to talk to some really cool people so far this weekend, but nothing here would be possible if it wasn't for this man next to me, Mike Burrell, the face of ROK Cup USA. And Mike, it's been a phenomenal weekend so far, sky-high attendance, well-renowned reception so far from the new SV power plant. Talk to me about your reaction so far behind the wheel of the ship.
Well, the face of ROK is our officials and our staff. Those guys they kill it everywhere we go, and they're just the best out there. But like you're talking about the SV stuff, I mean, that has been so super cool. The consistency Vortex came up with there, I mean, I don't know how many were within a tenth of each other. It's just amazing stuff. And, we just got to thank everybody for being here. I mean, over 300 entries, and, we get here and we're a little more condensed than we usually are because of some parking issues at the Rio. But everybody worked around it. Everybody had good spirits. I just seriously hope everybody's having a lot of fun and have some good, clean racing today. And, we'll see everybody in Florida in January.
A race as unique as this requires preparation for a race unlike any other, and I'm aware of the village and monumental effort it's taken to make ROK Vegas possible year in, year out, but would love to hear your perspective on what it takes to get ready for something like this every year.
A lot of money and a lot of time. We started building this track over a week ago. We show up on Wednesday night, and they had a bunch of trucks parked out here. They got them all out real quick, and our guys went to work. But I mean, we start planning for this. We'll start planning for next year already, shortly after this, and definitely after Winter Tour, it's high gear, planning for Vegas, and it takes that good 6 months to get it all done and figured out.
It's been 8 years now of you producing this world-class event. You've given me, Rob, and DJ the opportunity to come together and geek out about this. We appreciate everything you've done for us.
Well, it's only been 3 for me. There's a lot of people who have been here longer than me, and they're the ones that make it happen. But, we're fortunate you guys, and, Rob and DJ and you are an awesome team.
We appreciate it, Mike. Thank you. So quick update as well, guys, while you have me. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Good morning to everyone watching on YouTube. Jackson Lambros with these two in the pit lane. And a quick update from the drivers so far. It's been almost 5 days straight now of laying this Levanto rubber down on the track. We're kind of reaching the point where it's maybe a little bit too much because, again, Rob, we talk about getting over that limit. Maybe too much rubber kind of hurts the car for rotating. So the forecast from what I've talked to a lot of drivers, especially the SVs, is actually expecting that lap time to go down come the final. But for any stories, any updates for you, I'll be roaming the pits, roaming the scale lines, getting you two everything you need. Guys?
Well, thank you, Jackson. We quite literally couldn't do what we're doing here without you getting those on-the-spot updates. And back to what Jackson was saying there a little bit. A lot of grip down on this track. Yeah, don't expect those blistering lap times. I think this is going to be a race of attrition. Races.
Well, yeah. Obviously, fast lap times come when the cart's free, when you get it to rotate and get on power early, if the grip is going to be there. What it may play a bit to is more overtake, so you can send it down to the inside, get that grip on the inside, and get back on power. I just love these races because things change so much throughout the entire weekend, right? The track grips up, the temperature changes. We know later in the evening when the Rio was rolling that shadow across, it got a little bit cooler. It's about 70 degrees trackside here right now. We're expecting temps very likely in the mid to low 80s today, so it's going to be very warm for an November race here in Las Vegas. But I think the bottom line is because of the evolution of the racetrack, everybody has to be on top of the chassis from the very beginning of the week.
Yeah, you've got to make sure you're there. I mean, we talked about it yesterday, staying ahead of the curve, that you have to be on top of it. You never want to be chasing that setup change. You want to be predictive about where it is rather than reactive.
And there's times when the cart is perfect and you say to yourself, I don't want to change anything. But the track's always changing. Yep. It's not a static, right? So you're always minor tweaks. Every guy we talk to, I'm pretty much the same. A couple of minor tweaks, and that might just be tire pressure. They may change the front end geometry just a little bit depending on how the grip levels come up. But the bottom line is that you have to stay ahead of the racetrack. If you don't, you find yourself on the back foot, and everybody else has stepped things up. They're the ones that go to the front.
Exactly, and those that are going to be at the front are going to have their work cut out for them. We haven't really talked a whole lot this morning about this track itself. High speed, high momentum, a lot of opportunities, particularly down into a couple of these corners, turns 1, turn 8 in particular, where that door is going to open, but it's going to shut, and you've got to be very decisive to try to get that move done.
I think we have probably 4 passing opportunities. We saw, of course, 1 through into 2, that kind of, the double apex sweeper coming in. Drivers going to the inside of turn number 5 after they get through the 3-4. Coming back over, we saw a couple passes into 6, but more you set up through 6 and turn number 7 to get that run around the corner into turn number 8, and then coming out of 8 through the 9 chicane, we've seen a number of passes down into the inside of turn number 10. There's going to be a lot of passes early, a lot of passes all day long. It's the defense at the end of the races that we watched yesterday, a little precursor of the main event. Defense is going to be big, and when you do it, you bring everybody back into the fight.
Exactly, and so we're going to keep an eye out for that. But the other thing to keep an eye out for, let's start at the beginning of these races, that is going to be this turn 1. We've seen a lot of calamity down in there, but the thing that I am most interested in is those drivers that are starting in the even number positions, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, all the way back. That's the wrong side of the racetrack, let's call it. It is grippier because that is the traditional racing line to go around that outside. But when you're coming up to speed, it just seems like that outside lane losing out time and time again. We've seen a lot of karts aggressively try to cut down onto that low line to make up time.
Yeah, I would expect if you're starting on the outside of the front row, you're hoping for P3 coming out of turn number 3 and 4 over to 5. That's almost the best you can get, unless you do get a really good jump on the green and are able to run around the outside. It's the guys further back, as you said, right? 4, 6, 8. They're trying to get to the inside when they possibly can. But we did see a couple of drivers run the rim around the outside. Everybody's diving to the bottom. A couple of guys have gone to the outside. If you can make it stick when you get through turn 2 and through 3 and 4, you could gain a bunch of spots there. And as we know, DJ, the opening lap's the best opportunity to make overtakes. You can also end your race pretty quickly.
You can, and we saw plenty of drivers do that, unfortunately, yesterday in the LCQ, in the junior category in particularly, really getting their elbows out and having a detrimental result because of that. Now, outside on this track, the other thing to keep in mind is turn 10. You mentioned it earlier, as this track grips up more and more, you're going to be able to slam on the binders a little bit harder coming into turn 10. That's our tightest corner on the circuit. Yeah. I think that's going to be an area where during these feature races, you may see some more overtakes, and not just in the shifter categories like we've talked about.
The interesting thing is, obviously getting out of turn number 9, the move to the inside to get into the inside of 10, you take over the apex there, you shoot over to the apex, the right hand of turn 11. That's the pass done. We saw Jeremy Fletcher go both the inside and the outside, so it can be done. If a driver blocks to the inside, you make a big run around the outside. Again, through 10, it's really the chase to the apex of turn 11. Whoever gets to the apex of 11 first to get over there to 12, they're going to have that corner. But we also saw drivers pinching to the inside of 12 coming out and actually beating a driver into 13. There's so many overtaking opportunities, and it takes a couple laps to set it up, and usually a couple of corners earlier.
Yeah, and you really have to watch that. But as you've been saying, one of the things you've been harping on this weekend, for a lot of these younger drivers in particular, if you're catching at a rate of speed, pass when you get there. Don't spend time dawdling around. I'm curious to see if we'll start to see that, as the unmistakable noises right now, though, are of the karts headed out on track. We get ready to go racing for the first time today. It is ROK GP Junior presented by AM Engines.
Let's have a look at the grid. The Canadian Leonardo Saravalli will start in the pole position alongside Theo Salamalo. In row number 2, it'll be Sarah Bradley and Marco Samet. Both those drivers very quick throughout the weekend. Keep an eye on the 270 of Isaac Malkin. One of the fastest drivers here this weekend, starting on the inside of row number 3. Tristan Murphy on the outside, starting 6. Row 4 will have Royce Vega alongside Eric Doan. Row 5, Edward Kennedy and Travis Pettit. Drivers working their way down the back part of this racetrack right now. We'll continue to give you as much of the order as we can. Cole Medeiros, the Canadian, starting 11th alongside Benham Abernethy, while John McClellan and Jose Halfin will occupy row number 7. Eli Steinbrook and Braden Wagner on row 8. Kason Hodge alongside Luca Popescu on row number 9. Cole Anderson and Geronimo Corral will cap off the top 20. Hector Turiaga and Achilles Sapirko will be on row 11. Nico Orbezo, Juan Cantu, Noah Landry, Roman Doria, and Alexander Savage cap off the 27 drivers set to go. They'll work their way into the tram line for the first time. 9 races, 11 champions to be crowned. We are green, green, green.
And look at that from Theo Salamao. Really good move. He may have gotten that position done. Looks like first lap, first corner, first race is all clean and green. Oh, we've got one cart off into the barrier. Salamao still, yes, he was able to get that move over Saravalle, and so that is exactly what we talked about, able to make it move around the outside. I think Theo was listening to us and wanted to prove us wrong.
No doubt about it. Salamao was able to hold the outside of that corner. Those grip levels are up. Fantastic move for him. Every driver in the at least the lead top 10 here able to settle in. We did have the one driver who had some trouble, DJ, coming out of turn number 4, got into the barriers there. The ROK Cup USA tracked through quickly onto the scene to get the driver out of harm's way. Another driver, we've had some big impact. That's at the end of the back straightaway. A driver has gone over. You see him walking away. That's the 213. The driver have an impact there. Noah Landry. A couple of drivers together, potentially he and either Luca Popescu or Alexander Savage have fallen to the tail of the field. All 3 of those drivers. No, it's Popescu. He was involved as well. Popescu may have been the driver out over in turn number 4.
Yeah, and that's a very, very scary lick, to be sure. Drivers down through turn 9 right now. We're going to wait and see what the action is, because Saravalle is going to go to the inside, kick up some dirt as he does, and that's Salamao losing the position to Saravalle, and that is going to be a brilliant move for that lead cart. It is going to allow for the likes of Bradley, Malkin, and Samet to stay nice and close behind. No, excuse me. Salamao actually was able to hold on to that position. Malkin now gets the position ahead in P2.
That move for Saravalle down to the inside on the defense move by Salamao had a really good indication, example, DJ, of how dirty the racetrack was before we got there. The racing line is clean. The minute you went down to the left like that, you can see the dust that came up. That's what these drivers had to deal with in the opening practice session on Wednesday. That's how dirty this racetrack was.
Saravalle lost a position there. Now an attack from Malkin around the outside of turn 10. We said that was going to be an overtaking opportunity, and it certainly is proving to be just that. Malkin looking this way and that way in that 270 cart. As we continue to watch this battle, there's that indication. Push ahead. I don't want to overtake you. I just want to lead. And he's going to go down to the inside. That's going to be a big loss out for Salamao. And now he's going to fall down to 3rd place, I think.
Yeah, Isaac Malkin was trying to signal to Salamao, listen, let's get together. We have a bit of a gap. The 2 of you and I, we can pull away. We can end this race right now and make it a 2-driver battle. They went into the corner. Salamao got off it pretty early, and Malkin was right into the back and tried to stick with them. Salamao pushed off the racing line, had to tuck it back in. He ends up P3, but it's now Malkin into the lead, Saravalle into 2nd. Isaac was hoping for a breakaway right there. He just wanted to team up with Salamao. Communications crossed, didn't happen.
That didn't exactly work as they cross over the stripe right now. Let's go down to Jackson Lambros, who's got an update for us from pit lane.
Well, had a carnage report for you earlier. Can't confirm it was Luca Popescu who went into the wall earlier. That was in between turns 1 and 2. The RPG driver still out on track, but trying to recover, as well as Alexander Savage. Noah Landry getting that scary flip there down the back straightaway. A little bit of frustration for Sarah Bradley, just because, again, very similar to what we saw in SV across 125cc racing. It's just difficult to pass that leader. It's getting spicy out in front, though, guys.
Yeah, it is. Saravalle just able to get that pass done on Isaac Malkin, so move the 287 up into the lead position where we have seen it so many times over the course of this weekend. Salamao now starting to pressure a little bit behind. Sarah Bradley maybe just holding in a little bit, saving her stuff for the later parts of this race. We'll have to see.
What I will find interesting is whether or not, say, if Malkin can get back to Saravalle, if he does the same thing. Hey, listen, let's work together. Let's try to pull away. Again, anytime you have a gap like he had with with Salameo early in the race. He wanted just to pull away. They knew they were both great coming out of the gate on cold tires. They've been able to build a bit of a gap. That, of course, went away with the contact. I guarantee you that Malcolm will want to do the same thing here with Saravalli. He understands that you need to pull away. The more you race early on, the more you keep drivers in the pack. If you watch these races over the years, Salameo is going to make the move to the inside now of Malkit down into one. The longer the race goes, everybody stretches back. You'll lose the people out of the peloton up front. You need to leverage it early to get away.
Yeah, you do, and there you see that gap. Just a little bit of a fight there between Malkit and Salameo, and that has already produced a gap for Saravalli up front. Sarah Bradley still holding in behind. Eric Doan, welcome to the party as well, and that 286. That's the top 5 on the breakaway. No moves for that top 5, or indeed going back to about P10. They all run in single file order. It does look like Marco Samet and Edward Kennedy have been able to close in on that gap, but here's that breakaway, Rob. Salameo and Saravalli looking like they're starting to stretch their legs.
Yeah, and the interesting thing here is there's not as much of a sense of urgency in a longer race like this than there were in those shorter heat races. Yeah, you got only a couple laps to get things done. Here in a longer race, they're going to be able to settle in, understand that you're not even to the halfway point yet. There's a lot of racing still to come. You're going to want to get a spot here, spot there, try to move yourself where you need to be, find that draft partner maybe you can work with. You're able to play more of the long game and pull that stretch away. If you're 5th and 6th is starting to drop off, you don't need to be as aggressive. Settle in knowing you've got lots of laps to go to win.
Yeah, I mean, we still have an entire heat race left to play at this point, and we've already seen some great action. Move from Sarah Bradley onto the inside of Isaac Malkit, and it looks like there Eric Doan's going to follow him on through. That's a little bit of that freight train effect that we talked about. If you lose a position, it is almost harder to not lose 2 than to defend.
When you're in a train and you haven't been able to stretch away, as I'm talking about, yeah, if you lose a spot, someone's going to usually fill a hole. And Eric Doan saw the gap to the inside. Sarah Bradley made a really nice move down through turn 1 into the left-hand turn number 2. Doan filled the gap to the inside. Malcolm was on the outside looking in. Not anything he could do at that point because he was on the outside trying to get the car to set to get back around the corner. Doan did a great job working his way into the position. So Saravalli, Salameo, Malkit was on 3 last time. We moved Bradley up to 3rd, Doan up to 4th. Malkit goes back to 5th. Kennedy, Samet, Pettit, Murphy, and Cole Medeiros rounding out the top 10.
Well, we've got a minute. Let's check out the replay of exactly what happened on that pass. Really, really good stuff, as we mentioned, but it is a very pretty move. As there you see Saravalli trying to defend a little bit. Let's take a look at that replay.
Yeah, there's turn 1 there. Really nice move to the inside for Sarah Bradley. She released, dove to the inside, got to the apex, then drove it all the way down into turn number 2. Doan just tucked back in and followed through, and the action continues to heat up. As you said, we're just inside the length of the heat races, so there's still lots of racing to go. Counted, 10 drivers right now potentially in this lead pack.
And Salameo able to get a move done, I think, into turn 10 to make that to play. Doan going to be able to move up into P2. Saravalli dropping down into 3rd place. That kind of back and forth that we talked about. Bradley now holds on to P4. It really looked like there was a defensive line thrown by Saravalli on Salameo, and that stacked up the rest of the field.
This is the best we've seen out of Eric Doan. I'll say that right now. He has methodically worked his way forward after some issues in qualifying. He is rocking and rolling up to P2 right now in the PSL Carling. Biro Art Chassis, the only Biro I think that we have right now inside the top 10. So doing a great job there for the Red Army as he is pushing hard to try to chase down Theo Salameo, the Orsolon Racing driver in the 251. Very impressive throughout the weekend for Salameo. Here comes Malkit back to the inside as well. He'll take Doan. Or is that's Saravalli, pardon me. That's Saravalli, not Malkit. Saravalli back to the inside once again. And this is, Salameo's loving this. You guys battle as much as you want behind. Here comes Bradley to the inside of Doan. A little bit of contact, but not much.
No, and Bradley gets out of it there going through turn 9, I think recognizing that. She's still going to have a peek down to the inside of 10, but no movement there from Doan. Great move thrown, however, from Saravalli. Really, really good heads up into one of those overtaking opportunities that we talked about, turn 5. Kind of the reverse angle of turns 1 and 2, but it still plays out if you're able to send it up.
I love seeing the race strategy right now. It's really kind of out the door. It's more like pass or be passed at this point here. Eric Doan's trying to see if he can get Sarah Bradley to work with him to push forward, because right now Salameo and Saravalli 1-2. bottom line is, it's been a dynamic race so far. There's been a lot of passes. People aren't just settling in. They're all pushing forward. You think about some of the guys outside the top 5 who have won national races: Travis Pettit, Tristan Murphy, Isaac Malkit, Cole Medeiros, John McClellan in the middle of that battle as well. These guys have work to do if they're going to try to get themselves a race win here. You can't run here in the last 4 or 5 laps back in 9th or 10th position. You've got to start making hay here.
Yeah, you've got to start moving forward. And while they do try to move forward, let's take a look at a replay here. It looks like we had an incident not too long ago, so I want to be able to show that to our viewers. This is the 269. Oh, you can see the frustration there. Oh, and that's what it is. I mean, you've been working this whole weekend towards this point, and then to have one thing go wrong here in the final.
That was Edward Kennedy, some kind of a mechanical for him off the racetrack. Look at Sarah Bradley looking to the outside there at Doan, trying to get a good run through that turn 8 and 9 complex. Down to the bottom of the racetrack, super early for Theo Salameo. This is going to stack things up. Doan gets pushed to the outside. Bradley goes through to third. When you go down to the bottom like that, you're bringing the rest of the Lions into the fight. This is going to get ugly. He's already big time on the defensive. We've got 4 minutes plus 2 laps still to go. So if you're a driver who might have been 11th, 12th, or 13th, you just got a second opportunity to close back up, because across the line, top 13 drivers less than 3 seconds.
And want to give massive props there to Sarah Bradley for that move. Just kind of muscled her way through into turn 10. Oh, big defensive line there for Sarah Valle. That's Bradley, again, trying to get a pass done. I think she's got the speed here. She just needs to be in the position to make it, and she could be fighting for this win. Although as soon as I say that, Doan down to the inside of turn 10.
Yeah, long way to go. Sarah Bradley has always done well in these major events at the end of the season, these temporary circuit races. She has been very strong. She was on the podium last year here, I believe, in this category as well. Pushing hard here now as we're just getting underway. 9 events for you, 11 champions to be crowned, with, of course, the extra champions in our Supermasters categories. Good stuff here now up front. What a fantastic battle we're seeing. Back and forth, new leaders. That Salameo has set the pace early here, but Sarah Valle back to second. She's got Doan back up into third, Bradley to fourth. They're all trying to chase that Orsalon Racing driver up front.
And that was Tristan Murphy sending a move on Isaac Malkit. Malkit had been able to get up to 7th, now will be demoted back down to 8th position. So definitely a little bit of misfortune here for one of the pre-race favorites. But as they come across the line now, just under 3 minutes to go, a couple of checks from behind. That was Sarah Bradley, I believe, no, excuse me, it was Doan, taking a look back at Sarah Bradley to see if there was anything that Sarah was going to be throwing. Down into turn 5, the top 6 or so will stay in single file order as they come in through turn 6 and into turn 7.
Let me throw one out here. The pink, purple, and white RPG machine of Travis Pettit has found his way into P5. He has worked his way forward. I talked about him being outside that top 5. Look where he is now, P5. Back down to the bottom goes Salameo. Big time defense is going to bring everybody back in. And again, this is going to start getting ugly. Look at this, around the outside. Doan going to get hung out to dry. Here comes Bradley to the bottom of the racetrack. Pettit's going to go to P4. Salameo is really being the disruptor right now, not a regular race where you just kind of roll around. Doan, a good move to the inside at turn 2. Book it. He gets back by Pettit.
Yeah, that was really nice and really heads up. You got to feel for Doan there. He saw an advantage, went for it, and then, as you said, just got pushed out as a result of that momentum swinging him through the rest of the track.
DJ, they have to do that, right? Salameo's being so defensive right now. If you don't attack, someone's going to attack you. When you stacked up like that, you can see that that Doan was thinking about going to the outside, trying to make the pass there. This is just absolutely chaotic right now. Salameo, when you defend like that, you got to expect potentially to get a little bump and run from the back as well. Sooner or later, some of these drivers aren't going to like this big defensive run so early on.
And he's staying defensive here, coming down the front straightaway, not swinging it out to driver's right like we would normally expect to maximize your speed coming through turns 1 and 2. Defensive line again, Salameo just driving in the rear view at this point.
Yeah, here comes Eric Doan, I think, coming in there as well. Who else do we have into the middle of the battle? He's starting to get aggressive. That might be Sarah Bradley there too. Yeah, Bradley is going to the inside. No, Bradley goes to P2. We're looking at probably 4 laps remaining in this one here. Already 18 laps in, the longest they have gone so far here this weekend. 18 laps. Salameo now with a new challenger. It's Sarah Bradley.
Well, and now that Bradley's been able to sit back in 3rd and 4th to kind of observe what Salameo has been doing, I wonder if she's got a strategy to try to attack here a little bit. Also defensive line in the back there from Eric Doan, trying to hold off Travis Pettit. Here they come down through turns 2, 3, and 4. Bradley takes a little bit of a half-hearted look to the inside of Salameo. He'll hold on to the position for now.
DJ, talk about a fantastic start to ROK Sunday. This is massive stuff here at the Rio. Salameo, will this plan work? He's been defensive from the middle part of the race. Different drivers have worked their way behind him. No one's been able to overtake. All the way back to the bottom. Look at this. Bradley's going to go way to the high side. Can she go around the high side? Not quite. They're all trying something different. Doan's going to go to the inside. He'll move to the third spot. Sarah Valley gets shuffled to the outside of the apex of turn number 11 and move Doan back up into third.
All right, here's Sarah Bradley hunting. I think that's Travis Pettit under a little bit of attack here from Isaac Malkett and John McClellan. Looking up at the front of the field, though, again, just that continued defensive line. 3 laps to go for these kart drivers as Sarah Bradley hunts and pecks and prods for this win.
Sooner or later, Sarah's going to send it here. Big down to the bottom. Again, there's that move to the inside for Doan. Eric Doan making the move. Pass or be passed. Here comes the 287. Sarah Valley back there to P4. Doan's going to send it to the bottom here pretty soon. They're all stacking things back up again. Sarah Valley, I think, able to get by Bradley there as well. So stack them up, folks. The 2 to go sign coming, I believe, this time by as they come to the start-finish line. Yeah, 2 to go here.
It's Salameo, it is Doan, it is Bradley, it is Sarah Valley. Let's see what they've got. We haven't seen Doan try to make the attack here on Salameo. Goes wide to the outside, crossover, a little bit of contact there in the back. I think that was Bradley and potentially Marco Samet who's coming up through the order.
Sarah Valley might get in the side of him as well. Doesn't move into the inside there. Bradley's going to go back a spot. Doan to the inside. Bucket in turn number 8. Eric Doan to P1.
And look at that defensive line through turn 9, just shoving Salameo to the outside. Now Salameo tries to go around the long way. Beautiful crossover, but he's going to be on the long way pointing around. That may open up the door here a little bit to the 251, and that's going to be Salameo, who's now back to the front of the order. White flag in the air. Here we go, Rob.
Eric Doan leads this last lap. Marco Samet has got himself into the second position. Salameo third, Bradley fourth, Sarah Valley fifth. Doan covers the bottom of turn number 5. Here comes Samet. He'll go to the inside. Can he make the pass in turn 6 to the bottom of the racetrack? Book it. Ooh. He's through it. Salameo in the wall on the outside of the racetrack. Marco Samet now leads. He's got a gap coming into turn number 8. Through turn number 9. Does the Brandon Jarsa crack LN car driver come away with the race win? He's got lots of room coming to that back straightaway into turn number 10. This would be the biggest win for this young driver's career. Out of 10, 11, and 12, the winner in the GP Junior category is Marco Samet.
And look at that expression, just arms out, brilliantly driven for Marco Samet. Just calm, cool, collected, considered, waited until those final 3 laps, and then put it all on the line.
That was an awesome race.
That was great.
That was just an awesome race. Eric Doan did everything he could to be able to get through and by Theo Salameo. Salameo, you saw, didn't want to give up on the outside at turn number 6. Got sent, had to be some contact, I would think, as he went straight into the barriers into turn number 6. But Marco Samet comes away. A fantastic pass to get the job done. A huge victory for that young driver. Marco Samet is a ROK Vegas champion. Fantastic drive as well. And this is the camaraderie all coming by, DJ, to give Marco Samet the congratulations. The drive of his career thus far.
Really, really impressive stuff. And let's not count out here. Eric Doan, obviously, we talked about moving his way back up through the order. Isaac Malkett as well was down and around 8th, 9th, and 10th, about 3/4 of the way through that race, and then lost out to it. But I think we are ready to hear from our victor. Marco Samet is down with our very own Jackson Lambros.
And this young man, Marcus Samet, just showed us how it's done at 3 positions gained. Most of those coming when we saw the twin sticks out. And buddy, that was some gutsy driving. Tell me about it.
I mean, I didn't feel that fast, but then once I saw they were defending, I got better at, like, when they're defending, really know what to do. So when I saw, like, a gap, I really just went, and I guess I ended up winning.
When we were talking with the EKN guys, you were kind of a dark horse because, again, we have not seen you inside the podium, more around the top 5. Talk to me about the changes that have been going here to make this move possible.
I mean, I think we've kept getting the kart better and better. I think I've been getting better. All my coaches have been helping me, but the engine's been good, the kart's been good, so I think we're just getting everything in the right spot.
Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
Let's keep it going over here, Jason, and see if we can grab Eric Doan right here in this Burrell ART machine, because we talk about gutsy moves, my friend. That was 5 spots gained, and that was consistent moves in a race where a lot of people were saying it wasn't going to be done. Where did you find those abilities?
I don't know, man. I just sent it. The go-kart was on rails all weekend long. I want to have a huge shout-out to Andy Nish and my dad for Mechanic King. Everyone at PSL made this thing on rails. Lucas, my data guy. Speed Labs for the motor, power. It's an absolute rocket ship. I had that one in the palm of my hand. Marco made a great move. I got nothing against that.
You're flying the flag for one of the biggest names in karting, but it is still a family effort down at PSL. For you guys to get this weekend, get this Sunday started, and for you to walk off with a podium, what does that mean for you guys?
It means a lot, especially with how we started the weekend. We were super fast all weekend long, and then I messed up in qualifying. I got on throttle too early, and I hit the wall. To be able to come back from 16th, starting the first heat race, and end up second, it's a huge win for us. I really thank you.
Not bad driving from Eric. And guys, I can't think of a better way to start our Vegas Sunday.
I got to agree with you there on that, Jackson. Just absolutely incredible action up and down through the field, and I love seeing that there from Eric Doan. Just so excited to be able to come back like that.
Yeah, I think that's a storyline in a kind of a, let's put he's a marker for any driver who has trouble in qualifying. Listen, yeah, I made a mistake in qualifying. Your weekend is not over. All you got to do is put your head down, keep digging for years to come. You look at a driver like that, he's going to always say that to himself as well. I don't care if I'm down a little bit. If I keep digging, the team keeps getting behind me, we're going to keep moving forward and eventually get ourselves a chance to potentially win. You saw him looking at the team there, just so close, an opportunity to potentially win this race.
Yeah, and we talked about him during the broadcast, coming back from about an 8th and 9th place about halfway through the race, but Jackson Lambros is now caught up with our 3rd place driver, Isaac Malka.
Yeti JP3 for this young man right here. Isaac punching far above your weight class here in this junior division. Been a new age group for you, but you're driving far beyond your years. I know it's not the result you wanted, but talk to me about where those emotions are for you right now.
Yeah, I feel really good, honestly. I just think that we were a little bit off on the setup. The kart was pushing a lot the whole run. But other than that, I feel really happy with the P3, with how the kart was handling, and I mean, yeah.
Still a great drive from you. Thank you, my friend.
Yep, thanks.
DJ?
All right, thank you, Jackson. We're also going to be able to go back and take a look at the replay here of that incident that we saw for Theo Salameo. And this was a little bit brutal. Obviously, you saw just the impact from the barriers. But, Rob, let's watch this.
You watch him on the outside there. How much can we see? I think he probably just tried to hang the outside and then got off the racing line and just went straight under the barriers. That's tough for Theo after having, of course, led for a majority of that race there. But listen, it's the last lap. You're going to hang out and do whatever you possibly can. May have been a little bit of contact there, but at that corner of turn number 6, you're turning in. So if you've missed your turn in, the minute you've missed the turn-in point, there's nothing but dirt on the outside of that racetrack. And from then on, you're just hanging on and into the barriers. Tough one for him as well. Obviously, he finished 23rd on the order after being led for a majority of the time. The defensive run midway through, going already defensive, I just don't think that's the right way to play. You bring everybody back into the fight. A guy like Eric Doan, some of these guys that were further back probably shouldn't have been in the fight. And you think about how different it would have been had he and Saravalli been able to pull away at the very beginning when Saravalli was trying to tell him to go. When Isaac Malka was trying to tell him to go. Had they just hooked up and took that, 4 or 5 tenths of a second lead they already had, it could be a completely different storyline. Instead, we have a fantastic race to start things off.
All right, we're going to take a quick break away from you. Coming back to you at about 10:10, it will be ROK Mini. This is DJ Clark and Rob Howden here at ROK Vegas.
ROK the Rio is an international event, and all of the biggest teams in the country come out here to race each other.
And I love karting because it's all I've known since age 8.
It's the best sport out there. It's extremely hard to master. You're always learning something. You got to be on your game on all fronts, or you're not running up front.
I became very religious the last couple laps.
Further back, there's contact against the wall.
I'm out of the first turn on the last lap and I smacked the wall. I'll tell you, the last lap was clear of emotion and cried like a baby.
So to win Vegas, you just have to be perfect. You not only have to be extremely fast, but you simply cannot make mistakes.
Vegas If I could win again, it means a lot. I have all my family that come out for that race, so when everyone's there, there's a bit more pressure, but it means a lot. It's the Super Bowl of karting.
I think we have a chance at winning, but we are going to have to work at it.
It's still the biggest race that I've ever won as far as the bucket list item.
Four drivers, 12 turns, one goal. This is Power Drive Vegas.
Bill Wright began the Florida Winter Tour to break up the slow winter months for karters, and as the word spread, the tour grew. Importers, teams, manufacturers, and drivers alike all came to Florida to prepare for the upcoming season. One weekend became two, and the fun became serious fun. Since then, the karting season has started with the Florida Winter Tour, where teams compete to establish dominance for the coming summer. Drivers from all over the world look to make their name and leave their mark on the national scene, much like Pato O'Ward, Enzo Fittipaldi, and others have done in Florida Winter Tours of the past. The original Florida Winter Tour, the series that made karting a year-round sport in North America and where tomorrow's superstar drivers are discovered. 27 years later, you can still go karting and have some serious fun. Are you ready to join the action?
Beautiful views of the Rio Hotel and Casino, but an even more beautiful view is around this track. We were able to get an on board with Lawrence Perriman earlier in the week. This presented by Odenthal Racing Products. Take a look at what it's like to drive around this 3/4 of a mile, 13-turn circuit at Rio. An amazing view of just what it's like to run around this circuit. Rob, it's something we haven't talked about today. Not as bumpy as most of these temporary circuits that we run on normally are.
Well, you think about the fact that they've been racing karts here for about 23 years. The track obviously has had many different organizations, but with ROK Vegas being here 7 of the last 8 years, anytime you come and the series has to lay a track out, you remember the other 360 days of the year that's being used for parking, trucks, you name it, whatever it is. Every time a series comes here, when ROK Vegas came here, when Mike Burrell rolled in, like he talked about, you never know what the track surface is going to look like, what conditions are going to be when we get back a year on. So the track they were able to lay out, you're expecting some bumps. There are a couple bumps in some areas. But the feedback we got from most of the drivers is it's probably the smoothest it's ever been since they've come here. So whatever they've done with the racetrack, it's fairly smooth. They've been able to avoid the bumps, and the racing has been the benefactor as a result.
Yeah, it's been really spectacular. I mean, that ROK GP Junior race that we just saw, kind of an encapsulation of everything that we've seen. It's been great racing across the board here, and everything has been particularly exemplary. All right, looks like we've got about 1 minute to go before we roll off here for ROK Mini. And these, of course, are some of our younger drivers in the field, the cadet classes that are getting ready to head out. This will only be a 10-minute plus 2-lap race, so amps up the pressure a little bit more.
Let's have a look at the grid, DJ. Maxwell Macha will start on the pole position, the best driver coming out of the points with 3 wins in the heat races. Does he have the pace, or 4 wins rather, in the 4 heat races? Let's see what he has in the main event. Can he keep it happening? Santiago Orioli, very quick as well. He'll start on the outside of the front row, while row number 2 will have Asher Pavan and Cameron Johnson. On row 3, you saw the in-car from Lawrence Perriman. He's going to roll off from 5th on the grid alongside Luis Martinez in the 177. Row 4 will have Hudson Hidalgo alongside Nico Salazar. Row 5, capping off your top 10, Benny Abdallah and Joshua Wheeler. On row number 6, starting 11th, Paxton Romero alongside Mason Brody, while row number 7, Mateo Leon and Ivor Spence. On row number 8, 15th and 16th, Nathan Ramirez on the inside, Byron Borman on the outside, Christian Damianidis, the Canadian, alongside Miguel Angel Jimenez, starting 17th and 18th, respectively. Koa Saito, very, very quick. He's at the back of the pack after lots of issues. Watch for him to fight his way forward. Saito in the 160, starting in the 19th position. Iker Alvarez in the 144 will start 20th. Tail of the field, last couple of drivers in 21, 22, 23, Sofia Calderon, Forrest Blair, and Mateus Gonzalez. And an issue on the racetrack for Nathan Ramirez in the number 184.
Yeah, trying to get that started here as they're coming down through turn 10. Jackson, we've got time for a quick update for you. What you got?
Yeah, guys, it's trouble for in the pit lane. Who here? Let's try that again here. Trouble for Blair, the GFC pilot with the Lando Norris helmet. He is out of the car after that has failed to start, and at the 1-minute sign, that thing was dead stick, about to go green.
And we are going to go green as they take it away, and there is that start from Macha up into the front of the run. There they go, trying to hold off everything. Looks like a little bit of bumping and banging back through the rest of the field. Orioli and Pavan trying to be able to see if they have anything to fight. Battle for P3.
Good opening couple of corners for the drivers here in the ROK Mini category. They'll get themselves through turn 6 and turn 7. Back over, you see the sweeping run into turn number 8. That crucial overtaking opportunity leads in to that short shoot to the 9 right-left chicane there. Back down the straightaway. 2-driver potential breakaway early on. We'll see if it plays out that way. But as we had said, Maxwell Macha immediately to the lead in the 174. Right behind him is that number 154, Asher Pavan. Pavan now moves his way to 3rd, up into the 2nd position. The driver started on the outside of the front rows, dropped back to 4th. DJ Lawrence Perriman with a good run as well. He goes to P3.
Yeah, Perriman hoping that Pavan and Macha start to battle a little bit, and that'll draw him in even the more as there they go through turn 6 and 7. Again, not really an overtaking opportunity, although farther back in the field, I think it was Benny Abdallah maybe trying to make that work a little bit, but it didn't quite play out for him. Streaming down into turn 8. There they go, now onto the back straightaway, and Macha not doing what we saw in the previous race, running that traditional racing line, not trying to get out of the way and run defensive.
Well, I think that Macha knows, listen, I was able to win all 4 heat races. I've got the pace. I can get the job done. This could be one of those races where he runs away with it, pulling Pavan, Perriman, Oriel, whoever it is, pulling somebody along with him. This may be the breakaway we thought we could have had in the GP Junior category. If Macha isn't challenged by Pavan early, he can pull away by himself. Otherwise, they're going to be able to stretch away. We're not going to see a fight for the race lead here early on.
No, and I think that's exactly what Macha is starting to do. I think that was Iker Alvarez that we saw getting out of the cart. And we've got another slow cart out on the circuit. Couldn't get an ID on that one necessarily. Let's check back in, though. This is the battle for about P7. This is Cameron Johnson and Nico Salazar. They're duking it out. Also, good little battle here between Santiago Orioli and Hudson Hidalgo for P4.
Yeah, we have a 5-driver breakaway, as you can see there, because it's a full second between, I believe, the Hidalgo. Actually, it was actually 7 drivers in the lead group last time across the line. A little bit of a shakeup with that Benny Abdallah move and him and Cameron Johnson. That's where the gap is now. 1.2 seconds between 5th running Hudson Hidalgo back to 6th place Cameron Johnson. So a front-running quintet trying to pull away Macha, Pavan, Perriman, Orioli, and Hidalgo. If they play their cards right early on, this peloton could pull away and be the podium that you'll see here in the ROK Vegas main event for the mini drivers.
Big move down to the inside for the number 11 cart. We're going to keep our eyes on the battle for P4, Santiago Orioli and Hudson Hidalgo. That's Hidalgo leading in the red helmet. Ooh, a little bit of a poke there to the inside for Hidalgo in the yellow helmet. Orioli in the red. Now here comes the move for P3. Perriman under pressure, but Perriman turns attack to defense and sends a move on Pavan.
Yeah, I think Perriman saw that Macho was getting away a little bit up front. Asher Pavan, good pace, still had great speed, but was about 1/10.5 off that last lap, I think. Almost 2/10 off, actually, that last lap. So I think Perriman says, okay, listen, I've got to go by here. We cannot let Macho pull away. We'll see if Perriman's able to come away with a big win earlier this year at Trackhouse Motorplex for Perriman. Let's see if he can capitalize on that here as well to this weekend. A little move to the inside there, further back for Hudson Hidalgo. Top 5 better watch themselves. Don't make those mistakes. Let everybody come back into the fight. You guys need to work together to try to reel in Macho.
I'm a little bit surprised we haven't seen a tap at the back of the helmet indicating push me ahead. There's the 131 of Hidalgo making a move to the inside of Pavan. It's going to see if he can do anything there. And that's going to move them up into 4th place for Hudson Hidalgo.
I'll say this, the move for Perriman to go into second, more beneficial than Pavan back there because he was only 0.02 of a second off of the pace set by Maxwell Macha. Another driver pulling off here on the exit of turn 6 into the scales. Not sure who that is. We'll try to pick that number up for you. But yeah, most definitely Perriman has got the pace. Now, whether or not he gets the help he needs here from Santiago Orioli, hopefully won't fight each other. They need to keep digging and work their way forward.
And it looks like that was the 134 that peeled off, I believe. 132, excuse me. That's Matthias Gonzalez that peeled off into that runoff area.
Tough to see these drivers come out early, right? They work so hard throughout the week. You want them to be able to have that full distance run in the main event. And for a lot of the drivers, it's more about just gaining the experience, right? They may be not up in the top 5 trying to get for a race win or for a podium, but you want them to have that temporary circuit race experience. You want to have the full-on experience of racing here at ROK Vegas. So indeed tough to see Matthias pull off the racetrack, but I'm sure he'll be back in 2026.
Focusing back in on the battle for P2, Perriman and Orioli. There's that little duck from Orioli trying to wheel that cart forward and minimize the drag coefficient as much as possible. They're still just not quite able to close in on Maxwell Macha. Let's take a look at the best lap time, see if they're able to close in a little bit more. And Perriman and Macha almost identical times. And there, Perriman was able to reel him in just a little bit to the tune of about 1/10 of a second, so maybe that's what Perriman needs.
Listen, it's got to be 1/10 of a second a lap. We're still a long way to go till the end of this one. Lots of laps still remaining. Macha all by himself out front, clean air, open racetrack, able to run the full racing line, not being challenged at all from the back. The lead now just under about 1/2 a second, but he's putting down really good laps. It was his best lap. In fact, all the drivers up front during their best lap here on lap number 7. And as we've talked with a lot of the teams and the drivers, these Levantos like to come in a little bit later on. So everybody kind of waiting for those tires to really get to where they're able to drop down those super fast laps. So we're going to see personal best laps all the way through the early parts of these races. It's whether or not Perriman and Orioli can work together, because they have already dropped a couple drivers off the peloton, as we've talked about. Hudson Hidalgo and Asher Pavan now over 1/2 a second behind that duo chasing down Maxwell Macha.
As we continue to watch this battle with Perriman and Orioli, we go down to Jackson Lambros, who's got an update from pit lane.
And guys, it's heartbreak, unfortunately, for Matthias Gonzalez, the young Colombian from LFB Racing, making the trip up from south of the border. One of the few Pragas we've had, unfortunately, made contact with one of the other carts, believe the 112, and that unfortunately knocked that mini engine off kilter and went dead stick back into the pits, DJ.
I hate to hear that there for him. That is not what you want to have in the final. Like you said earlier, Rob, working your whole way towards this moment this weekend, and then just one little errant move sends it away.
Look at the lap times again. Once again, Perriman a little bit quicker, maybe 0.03 of a second. It's not a lot, but it's enough, right? The minute you start getting close to the point where maybe you're going to be able to get a bit of a draft as well, and that's one of the things about this particular racetrack. It's not a huge draft track. We don't have that big, long straightaway where you can really tuck up underneath somebody here, but there isn't enough that you're going to get a little bit. You can see Perriman getting ever so closer, and I'm going to give a shout out to Santiago Orioli. Being patient. He's trusting the fact that Perriman's closing up. No need to go by. Because if they start racing again, I think you'd see Macha pull away. We are very close to having a 3-driver battle up front. 2.5 minutes to the 2-lap to go sign. 5-6 laps, maybe potentially remaining here for the drivers here in this ROK Mini category. It's a different race than we saw of the frenetic nature of the GP Junior race that started things off today. This one's more of what we would see, a technical, strategic battle with drivers kind of reel in. But I'll tell you one thing, when we get to the last couple of laps, if they're nose to tail, all bets are off.
Exactly, and I want to give massive credit here to Lawrence Perriman. I mean, this was a calm and collected just progression up through the gears, as it were, and up to the back of Maxwell Macha. Macha has looked untouchable this entire weekend, and Perriman just put his head down and got on with it. And like you said, credit to Orioli as well, recognizing that Perriman had the speed to be able to close in and not fighting with him. It does look like Maxwell Macha has responded. There you see on the screen a 45.065. That's about a full tenth faster than Perriman on that last lap.
His best lap for sure, but not the best of the race, because if you look a little bit further back, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see him in the screen right there. How about Koa Saito? Ladies and gentlemen, he has worked to 6th. He is up 13 positions. Saito started in 19th. He's got laps to go. Could he potentially get on the podium from that far in the field? If you look right at the back, top right of the screen, no, you can't quite see him. He's not that far back. That's the crazy thing. He's 2.4 seconds behind Hidalgo. He was quicker by 0.2 the last lap. It may be too little too late for Koa, but he's put on a fantastic show in that GFC.
All right, they've caught, and now Orioli says it's my time. Yep. He pushes his way ahead of Perriman down into turn 2, and we are going to see what the 103 machine is able to do in regards to the leader. Check behind for Maxwell Macha. Just wanting to see what that battle is. Asher Pavan and Hudson Hidalgo holding in 4th and 5th. Koa Saito not look like he was able to close in on that last gap. Whoa, a little bit of side-by-side through the rest of the field.
Yeah, that was deeper in the field. That was Ivor Spence, Luis Martinez, and Benny Abdallah. I'll say this, all the patience, kudos to Santiago Orioli, but Lawrence wasn't getting the job done. He needed to get up there and make a move early, right? You got to shake things up at this point. Lawrence couldn't quite get close enough for a pass, and in fact, I think we're just going to sneak in here. We are very likely 2 laps to go when they come back around. We'll see how it plays out here. So indeed, Macha, Orioli, Perriman, the 3 drivers in the fight. Macha, though, with a little bit of breathing room, DJ, almost a half a second now.
It just looks like it's sort of that dirty air bubble almost is what it looks like, that they're able to just close in a little bit. Obviously not working with as much aerodynamics here in these karts, so that's not what it is, but that's almost what it seems, and I think that's a testament to Macha, that he's just kind of saying, you know what, you can close in, but when push comes to shove, I still have the speed over.
Yeah, does he have any left? Has he held anything back? I doubt it. He's pushed as hard as he can. It's just whether or not that cart comes in. Remember, we talked about the fact that for the most part, the mechanics, the tuners, are using all their years of experience on tire pressure. Here's what we're going to do. I want that cart to come in right at the right time. We're already seeing these guys pushing to 14 laps. We're going to end up getting 16 laps for this race. 2 laps to go. Macha still just over 0.4 of a second ahead of Orioli. Santiago, even when Perriman was doing it, they're not able to close up. Macha looking to cap off a perfect weekend.
Yeah, he's got 2 laps to go, call it 1.5 laps to go, and I think if I'm Perriman at this point, this is full speed ahead. He's got to kind of realize that they're not going to be able to catch Macha, and Perriman needs to focus in on trying to get a better spot on the podium.
At this point now, the podium is locked to the top 5 drivers there. Koa Saito, as we said, back by about 2.4 seconds. Saito doing a great job coming from deep in the field, but now it's all about Santiago Orioli. Does he have anything here on the final circuit? I don't know. Big move to the inside for Asher Pavan, trying to hold off Hudson Hidalgo. These drivers fighting for 4th and 5th. I'll tell you this, though, Macha out front turned a really good lap there. It was about 1/10 of a second quicker than Orioli. Macha, who's led from the get-go, looks like he's primed to come home as a ROK Vegas winner.
He's pushing ahead one final time through turn 8 they go. Battle for P4 with Pavan and Hidalgo, and that is Hidalgo trying to be able to get the move. I think if we're going to see a move, that's where it is. Pavan defensive down to the inside. Hidalgo not going to poke his nose out, just going to keep right in behind. Looks for a little bit of a crossover, but it's not going to play. Maybe a little bit of a bump and run, but Pavan's going to be able to hold on to that position. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Maxwell Macha comes in to take victory, arms wide, fist bumps into the air, and a self-clap for the driver of the 174, Maxwell Macha, doing what he's done in every heat race thus far, winning.
Look at the battle further back here, the train deeper in the field. That's Brody, Wheeler, Romero, Johnson. That's 8th on back in a big, huge train. They had a great race as well. Maxwell Macha winning by 0.764 seconds. Orioli, not quite enough. Both he and Lawrence Perriman had a chance running second to chase down Macha. It just didn't happen. The Paralyn USA driver coming away with a massive victory. Santiago Orioli in second. Great run for Lawrence Perriman as well. A strong drive to third position. Asher Pavan, congratulations on fourth. Hudson Hidalgo, he tried him. Little bump and run in turn number 11 at the end there. And the drag race to the line, DJ, 44 thousandths of a second. Pavan able to edge Hidalgo at the stripe to complete the podium. And again, last but not least, Koa Saito. What a fantastic drive. Up 13th spots, 19th to 6th.
Yeah, you love to see that from a driver. Koa has really impressed me this weekend. We've seen a lot of really good moves. We've seen a lot of good speed out of Saito. It's really been an impressive run. Drivers getting out of their carts right now. There is the man of the moment, though, Maxwell Macha, number one into the air. And our number one reporter is down with him. That is Jackson Lambros, ready to get the stories from the scales.
And a micro winner in 2023 here in Vegas, a mini winner here in 2025. Max, what are the emotions like off rip?
It feels so great to win again. I feel so happy, and I got 2 wins now in ROK, so I'm a winner, so yeah. I want to thank Paralyn and my parents, my mom and dad, my coach Marco for coaching me, my teammates for helping me and get through this, and yeah.
Congratulations, Max.
Thank you.
Let's jump back here to Santiago Orioli. My friend, phenomenal drive for you, up a handful of positions, not podium, but I know just not quite the spot where you wanted to be. Talk to me about that effort.
I mean, we were working every practice, trying stuff, but he was really fast, so he did really good, but I was just pushing, try to catch up.
What felt like was missing for you there in the last couple of laps?
I think maybe if we push a little longer, I think we can fight it out in the last couple laps.
Still a fantastic race for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Going back a little bit here to the basketball drive. You can follow me over here, Larry. Lawrence Perriman, that basketball helmet, hard for us to miss, especially when you're on the podium. Tell me about that race, my friend.
I mean, it was a great race. Me and Santi worked really hard to get to Macha, but we didn't really have the pace to get there.
Still 5 positions up for you from the start. What felt like was dialed in for you to make those moves out on track?
I mean, I think I just started hitting my marks a little better, and they helped me get up there.
Congratulations, Lawrence.
Thank you so much.
One of the earlier chapters in these young kids' racing careers, and man, the reading is going to be getting good here.
Yeah, it certainly is a great run for all of those drivers. Love seeing the different emotions there, specifically from Maxwell Macha. You could just sense that emotion of how much this win meant to him.
Well, you listen, when you win a race kind of from start to finish like that, there's a lot of pressure on you, right? You know they're coming for you. Again, we didn't talk much about it, but I don't think he ever really looked back, and that's one of the things that you try to teach a young driver. Stay focused forward. We'll give you the signs from the sideline, whether or not they're close or not. You just keep digging, and he kept his head down. His laps were fantastic. His last lap was only less than 0.2 of a second off his best that came back on lap number 11. So the consistency running up front. One of the things about being second or third, you're in a train, you're kind of balancing off the driver in front of you. If they go deeper into a corner, you're going to go deeper into a corner. When you're by yourself out front, you're setting your own marks, right? So I always say that if you can lead from start to finish, especially when you're challenged like he was within a half a second the entire race, and it got down to, I think, a couple of tenths at one point when Perriman got close. To be able to hit your marks like that, I think, is a massive deal, and that's just a huge win for Maxwell Macha.
Yeah, it really is an incredible run for him. We're going to take a quick break away from you. We will be back, though, in just a few moments' time when we get ready for the ROK Shifter Pro Series presented by Velocity. As they enter into the acceleration zone, green flag flies. We are racing. Big slide farther back in the pack. Couple of micros going a little bit sideways, but they're going to hold it together. Pressure from Luca Besseril. Besseril looks inside for speed. Now down into turn 4. Got it. This position. Gonna go to the inside of turn 1. Got it. The lead of it. Whoa, cross back, crossover.
I don't think battling each other is the way to go right here.
Oh, almost a little bit of a swiggle there for Trusho in that purple car. Here comes Del Bon to the line. Look at him, he's so excited. Welcome back to ROK Vegas. Carts out on track for the shifters. That's right, the big boys ready to play here. It will be a standing start. You see them head around twice to be able to get that lap taken care of. This will be a standing start for this series. Really will change things up a little bit as they go. Jacob Gulick will be the one in pole position, followed by Adrian Reddington, then Cooper Becklin, Massimo Valiente, Matteo Pappas, Scott Hargrove, Lars Olander, Carlos Maldonado, Jake Colbert, Eric Hermansen, Matt Greeny, and Maddox Tidwell will round out your 12-car field for this. And this has really been a battle up in the top 4. Gulick, Reddington, Becklin, Valiente, they have been the ones to watch out for.
Just a quick update. Those of you, of course, in the chat and watching on the ROK Cup USA YouTube channel, we are running down Koa Saito to have a chance to talk with him. We'll get our race started here with him. We'll get a chance to chat with Koa. That fantastic drive from 19th up into 6th. We'll get Jackson Lambros with him. Koa was just coming through scales right now, so we'll get to him soon. So stay put. We'll take care of it for you. But again, yeah, this is going to be a fantastic battle. Jacob Gulick, Adrian Reddington, Cooper Becklin, Massimo Valiente, Michael, his father. I'm used to calling him Michael, just like Chase and Joey Hand. Darn it. Massimo Valiente. Those have really been the 4 drivers, although I'll give props to Matteo Pappas, had a really good heat race there, so he may be in the fight. 12 drivers ready to fight it out, very likely 4 ready to scrap for the race win, but as we said, Becklin, Valiente, and Pappas ready to fight as well. To the lights! Green, green, green! A driver stalling at the tail of the field. Whole shot, though, goes to Jacob Gulick. He will lead coming out of turn number 2.
Adrian Reddington, I think, able to slide over into second place. Massimo Valiente into third, so they're going to run pretty much as they were at the line. 14 minutes plus 2 laps up on the clock, and it looks to be an immediate slight breakaway here for Gulick, Reddington, and I believe that is Valiente starting to go in, but now they're all going to come on into it. Cooper Becklin into the party as well.
Another fantastic start for Massimo Valiente as he goes into P3. They're all right there. It was Lars Olander who stalled at the line, eventually able to get restarted back underway. But Gulick will take this opening lap and try to stretch a little bit of breathing room. As you can see, Valiente putting all the pressure on Reddington down to the inside of turn number 2 right now. Stack them up as Cooper Becklin and Scott Hargrove right there as well. Tough start for Matteo Pappas as he dropped back a couple of spots there early. Had a massive start to begin the heat race number 4. Didn't get it this time and slots back into P7.
And I believe that driver that we saw was Lars Olander that stalled out a little bit. And it looks like we've been able to catch up with Koa Saito. Let's go down to Jackson, who's got the young driver.
Still a fairly hectic grid out here, but this man was making moves in the chaos. Koa Saito, 19 positions gained, my friend. What felt dialed in from that GFC?
The turning was great. The gear was also. The motor felt good. I'm very happy with my performance. I want to thank GFC, my dad, my mom, in particular Gary Carlton, Sonny Cervelli, and all my competitors.
You feeling ready for that move up to junior?
Yeah.
Get after it, my friend. Great driving today. Koa Saito, one of the few drivers from Hawaii, and at 9 years young, he is driving with a maturity far beyond his years, DJ.
And love that confidence. You ready for the move up to juniors?
Yeah, heck yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. I'll do it right now. Up front, right when we were going to that interview, you saw Valiente make a big move. Couldn't quite make it stick in turn number 10. So he's back into into the 3rd position right now. Becklin runs 4th, Hargrove 5th. So Valiente, Massimo going to have to reset the mind, get himself back at it, put down some good laps. He did that. It was the fastest lap last time by 39.688. Valiente on the Italian Motors machine. I think back 23 years when we first did a race here at the Rio, and Italian Motors was on the front row of the ICC category with Michael Valiante and David Yurka, a couple of very strong drivers. So indeed, exciting to see that this brand, who's been still around for so many years, it is the Valiante's brand. Ital Kart's been around a long time. They've won a lot of big races, IKF Grand Nationals, Duffy's. Michael Valiante, a multi-time champion, multi-time race winner, and of course, so many drivers coming through. The Jordi Voraths, I mentioned David Yurka. A lot of great drivers have run for Italian Motors, and of course now the namesake Valiante, Massimo, right there in the middle of the hunt as well.
Yeah, trying to push their way ahead. And crucially here, we haven't seen that big of a breakaway. There's a little bit of gap between Becklin and Hargrove, but that is not too big of a gap as things stand. Let's watch, though, as Gulick just continues to set this pace. But if you know anything about Adrian Reneden, he is going to continue to just methodically figure out what's going on here with Jacob Gulick. Again, one of the advantages of this 14-minute plus 2-lap format, is the 4:27. That's Lars Olander. That's that cart that we saw stalled on the grid.
Yeah, done for the day as well. You wonder whether or not it might have been something with the clutch or something actually mechanical that did not allow him to get away from the line. He did get a couple of laps in, but not as many as he would have expected, I would think. I'll say this, that the last couple of laps, Valiante's been turning the quickest laps. Finally, Gulick on that last lap able to go down to a 39.363, but Valiante only a couple hundredths of a second off. He has turned things up over the weekend. He's been right there, third and fourth, he and Becklin. But right now, Valiante right there on the rear bumper of Reneden, trying to potentially get by for P2. Gulick stretching away just a little bit. Valiante resets fast lap of the race as well. Again, a couple of hundredths of a second. We'll see whether or not he's able to make a move on Reneden and then chase after Jacob Gulick. Right there, Valiante, the man on the move.
Yeah, Valiante just trying to get his way ahead, and that's what we want to see. I think he has had enough of sitting behind Reneden. Here comes the pass. Here we go, down into turn 10. A little bit of a slip and slide there, but move done.
He tried to do it a couple laps ago and got overcooked it. This time, perfectly done. Book it. Valiante through to go to P2. Now, he'll try to pull away here from Reneden and chase after Gulick. He made the pass in turn number 10 and still set the fastest lap of the race. This kid's on fire right now. 39.309 for Valiante as he pushes to try to reel in Jacob Gulick. Both these drivers coming out of the Pacific Northwest.
All right, they continue to go. Brought to you 4-3. This race is Here We Go, and they continue to run right now to see if Gulick's going to be able to hold off an attack here from Valiante. We know how fast he is. I'm curious to see what his last lap time is going to be when he comes by this time around. Now that he's gotten that position, it is just a couple of hundredths faster than Gulick, but we'll have to wait and see what it continues to go.
Again, long distance this race. They've got 8 in right now. Expect this thing to go 17, 18 laps potentially. We'll see exactly how far the shifters are able to go. The fastest karts we'll see on the racetrack here throughout the entire weekend. So there's still a long way to go. Valiante there up into second. He's been able to dispatch Reneden, giving himself a little bit of breathing room, which will make it easy for him to hit those marks. It's whether or not he can get there. He's 0.751 back at the line, so 3/4 of a second. But again, he's going to try to knock out a hundredth of a second at a time. A couple hundredths here and there. Across the line of 39.310 for Gulick, 39.339 for Valiante. Lost a couple hundredths of a second. Now, well, I'll say this. Remember, we're talking about what was the kart going to do at the end of the race. Who's going to have the fast car? Who hit the setup that's going to get better? We're so early into this right now, maybe only at the halfway point. So when we get to the latter half of the race, how are the tires handling things? And how much quicker can you go than your competition over the final handful of circuits?
And I've got to imagine if you're Adrian Reneden, who we've really seen be up in that P1, P2 position for the majority of this run, I got to think he's, I don't want to say saving his stuff, but just kind of calculating his way forward, figuring out where that opportunity is going to present itself, pushing his way, and waiting until those last 3-4 laps to really launch the assault because he sees Gulick out in front. He doesn't want to make that overly aggressive move and get his way forward and run the risk of Gulick getting too far down the road.
Yeah, Reneden did just set his fast lap at a 39.310. He was actually faster than both Gulick and Valiante on that last lap. Again, P3 is a tough place to go in terms of kind of biding your time. You do that kind of in second, third. You got to make that pass on the first guy, and then oftentimes that can take a couple of laps to find yourself you're running out of time at the end. I don't know whether or not he just doesn't have quite the pace he's had through the heat races, or whether or not maybe they have that long run pace. Maybe the car was set up to go the distance. Maybe it's a handful right now. He just set fast lap of the race, 39.250. So maybe that first half, they kind of gave the first half away to hopefully be much, much better in the second half. If he's able to make a pass up here on Valiente in the next couple of laps, maybe that would be the case, because indeed, Valiente losing a couple of hundredths of a second again on Gulick on that last lap.
It looks like he lost a mere thousandth of a second based off of my time. It's a pretty evenly matched, but Reneden, to your point, about a half a tenth faster. Let's see what comes across on this next lap, as it looks like everything's going to kind of hold in line there. But Reneden starting to put pressure to the back of Valiente for sure. Yeah. So I think this is where you're going to see that, and that is exactly what Gulick wants to see. Now, the flip side of that is if you are Massimo Valiente, I think you kind of let Reneden by. If you see him poke his nose to the inside, if you see a flash of that attack, you've got to let him by and just hang on to his coattails.
I don't know. I don't think any racer like this is going to do that right now. The issue right now is that Gulick is actually pulling away a bit, almost a full second up. He gained almost 2/10 of a second on that last lap. As Massimo sees him pull away, he doesn't think he has a car that can go back and get him. Massimo's going to 100% go on battle for P2, right? If he can't think he can get up there, the last thing he's going to want to do is to let Reneden get by. It's not one of the more momentum classes where, if he's a bit quicker, I'll let him go by, and then maybe we can work together to get there. It doesn't quite work that way in the shifter car categories. You aren't able to kind of leverage as much off the guy in front of you.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Rob, and we'll have to see. I mean, it just doesn't look like anybody at this point has anything for Gulick. He is just commanding the pace at the front of this field, and so I think he may be right. The battle may be on for P2, but P1 fast out of reach.
Yeah, and this is it. Jacob Gulick's a driver who's won some major national races in his career, been always one of the top 10 shifter car drivers in the country. Has been impressive out of the gate, qualified as we know on pole, was able to win the early heat races. Yeah, Reneden came in and battled him out a little bit, but he was right there. They have done a great job so far dialing things in here for Gulick in terms of long race pace. His best lap was on lap number 12 a couple ago, 39.274. His last lap here was just 0.04 of a second slower. So that operating window, that consistency of lap time for Jacob Gulick is lining up nicely right now. Just over 4 minutes before we hit that 2-lap to go sign. So based on 39-second laps, there's still a lot of circuits around this short racetrack for these guys to see who can come up on top of the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a battle to play for. It still could happen. And so even with as consistent and as darn near perfect of drive as we've seen here from Jacob Gulick, one little mistake could bring everybody back into this mix. Let's see what they are able to do, though. Reneden not quite close enough to Valiente to get that to play. It's going to keep on going back. It's just going to hold in position here. They're going to dive down now into turn 10. I'm not seeing any movement here from these top three quite yet. But 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. Still plenty of time left to go.
Behind the front-running trio here, you'll see them maybe coming to the line later. Scott Hargrove running in that 4th spot. He's well back now, 4 seconds behind Reneden, but Scott Hargrove up a couple spots. Started 6th, running P4. I think he'd be happy with that. Matteo Pappas has fought himself back up to 5th. Remember, he fell back to 7th. Carlos Maldonado now running in the 6th spot. Jake Colbert in 7th. Cooper Becklin, who's up front, we expect him to potentially battle for, of course, the podium and maybe even a race win. He has fallen back into the 8th position. Eric Hermanson in 9th. Matt Greeny in 10th. Maddox Tidwell in 11th. And Lars Olander, we saw the shot of him hitting with the scale, so he was done after 4 laps. We have 16 down, handful still to come here for this Velocity Racing ROK Shifter Pro Final.
And it looks like Adrian Reneden has closed the gap just a little bit. Call it about 2-3 cart lengths in between himself and Valiente as they continue to close. I think Reneden is recognizing this is go time. Maybe they set that cart up just a little bit to go in the long run. He's going to start pushing here is what I'd have to imagine to see if he's got anything to play for.
That's it. Get himself close enough for one of those diamond moves where these drivers will just throw it right to the apex to make an aggressive pass. The issue for turn number 1 and 2 is you really can't make that move because you'll see, watch, when they come back around here, you'll see Valiente. As soon as you come to turn 1, you're turning in already into 1 and they're kind of hugging the barrier all the way around. You release a little bit there to set up for a better corner through turn number 2. More, I think, for the shifter carts, maybe the breaking down into turn number 5 or that deep run into turn number 10. Or, of course, turn 8's been a favorite for a lot of the drivers here this weekend.
Yeah, it really has. That's where we've seen a lot of those moves. They come through turn 8 right now, and Reninen is able to close up a little bit. Shifter karts, as you mentioned, in turn 10 tends to be a little bit of a good area. Not defensive for Valiente or Gulick. Gulick doesn't need to be defensive. He's got an 0.8 of a second gap up at the front of the field. But Reninen closing up a little bit through Switchback City, as we call it, that 10, 11, 12 complex. It's go time here. Gap coming down a little bit. It's down to about 0.3 of a second in between himself and Massimo Valiente. Valiente still not able to close on Gulick, but with 1 minute and 15 seconds there or thereabouts left to go, it is go time for all of these drivers.
Gulick's consistency continuing. His last lap of 39.365, still within 1/10 of a second of his fast lap coming on lap number 12. Although I'll say this, Valiente was quicker than Gulick on the last lap, but Reninen was quicker than both of them from P3, right? So they are tightening up a little bit, still 0.8 of a second. The cushion right now for Jacob Gulick. Led from the start, a fantastic hole shot from pole to be able to dive his way into turn number 1 unchallenged. And he was to remain that way from the get-go. So Valiente and Reninen right there. And again, this time, it was Gulick who was the quickest of the three by a couple hundredths of a second. In fact, a couple thousandths of a second, not even hundredths. These drivers so evenly matched right now. Their fast laps separated by about 24 thousandths of a second. So indeed, the front three drivers have been so evenly matched. We're coming to the end of this one here, probably 3 laps remaining.
Yeah, and it's really a testament to the driving ability of these three. I mean, 3 different chassis that they are running, 3 different drivers, and they're able to put down lap times within this close of one another. I mean, it is just incredible to watch. And I want to give credit there, Massimo Valiente running his personal best on the last lap. Faster by about 0.2 of a second, 2.5 of a second than Adrian Reninen. He's opened up that gap, and now they're pretty much equidistant from each other.
You're right, he gained another 1/10 of a second on Gulick as well. Can he keep that going? Can we make it at least close here at the end? 0.7 of a second was the gap. You'll see the 2 to go sign when they come back to the stripe. Valiente pushing as hard as he can to try to make maybe a late race run at him here. He was, again, about 1/10 of a second, but as we said, Gulick has a little bit of breathing room. He can even breathe a little bit if he has to. And Valiente back across the line, 2 laps to go. How does he look this time? Oh, lost a couple of hundredths this time. Again, they're going back and forth with it. The gap back to 0.746.
Yeah, it just keeps kind of yo-yoing this way and that way and this way and that way. And it's... I don't even want to necessarily attribute it to Gulick being able to respond, not taking anything away from Jacob, but I think it's just those micro details on each lap that just get a little bit off here, a little bit off there, a little bit better here, a little bit better there, and it really just goes to show how impressive it is that they are all able to do this within that. They're going to come to the line here out of turn 13 for the penultimate time. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for your Shifter Pros.
Yeah, we're talking hundredths of a second at this point, are we not? Again, another 600ths quicker there for Massimo Valiente. He's just under 0.7 of a second back. Hey, listen, the bottom line here is, barring a major mistake from Jacob Gulick, he's going to come away with a race win, and an impressive one at that, flag to flag. Valiente so impressive, getting by, making that move to Reninen to get himself into P2. This has been a breakthrough race, no doubt about it, for Massimo Valiente. But here comes Jacob Gulick over the last couple of corners through 10, 11, 12, and through 13. It's a flag-to-flag victory here in the Shifter Pro category. Jacob Gulick wins at the Rio. The margin of victory, 0.6 of a second, as again, Valiente just a little bit quicker on that final lap. Massimo Valiente, congratulations, strong run into the 2nd position. Adrian Reninen in the 3rd spot. Scott Hargrove in 4th. Mateo Pappas 5th. Carlos Maldonado comes home 6th. Cooper Becklin 7th. Jake Colbert, Eric Hermanson, and Matt Greeny rounding out your top 10. Maddox Tidwell a lap back in 11th. There they are, rolling into the scales. A fantastic drive. Call it almost perfect for Jacob Gulick. Hole shot, consistent laps within about 1/10 of a second. They just couldn't get close enough to him. He never made even a single mistake.
No, I mean, it was a very, very impressive and collected drive from Jacob Gulick, just withstanding any inkling of pressure that was coming his way. Really, really good heads up, good way to drive, and good way to get his way forward. I am very impressed with this young man. He has done a great job this entire weekend long. I mean, we've been talking about Gulick and Reninen, and Massimo Valiente, a name that we'd circled and definitely came alive in this final.
Yeah, Jacob Gulick, the kind of guy, not overstated, not boisterous, kind of just does his job, gets the job done. He's quiet. It'll be a good interview with Jackson for sure. A fantastic driver and a well-deserved race win for Jacob Gulick on that GFC.
Well, speaking of Jackson Lambros, we go down to him as he's been able to catch up with Mr. Jacob Gulick.
A fourth ROK Vegas win for GFC, and it's Jacob Gulick getting it done in brilliantly boring fashion. Dominance for you out in front, my friend. Tell me about how you made it happen.
I mean, I can't thank the team enough, and just all the work that Rainey and Gary and my father have done. And yeah, I mean, if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be here right now.
You've had a phenomenal season at the national level throughout here, but to cap it off out in front here in Pro Shifter, talk to me about what that means for you in GFC.
Yeah, I mean, it feels great. Like you said, it's the fourth time for us, so, just adding them onto the list, and, going to be back here in a couple weeks for Super Nats, and, just really gives us some momentum for then.
Jacob Gulick getting Vegas started off strong for him. Let's see if we can go back a little bit here and grab this kid who I have been thoroughly entertained with in the Burley Products Super Cup. You end your year up in the Pacific Northwest with a Burley Championship. You get to Vegas and get a podium. Where do the emotions start for you?
Well, I mean, it was a little disappointing. I passed Renaud Dan, at the beginning, but I overshot a little bit. And I think that's when Jacob was able to pull away from me. But, I've had the pace at least to keep up, keep that gap stable. I just got to go back to Sumas and keep practicing so I can, close that gap next year.
I know you guys wanted to go back-to-back for a Tal Kart this year after the drama in Pro Shifter last year. What do you feel like was missing behind the wheel for you guys this weekend?
Well, I mean, consider this is my first year and a half of shifter, and so I think honestly it's just a little bit of lack of experience, especially flat shifting these things is so grueling on your arms, and so I think I just more practice and more development of myself. The go-kart was amazing. I want to say thank you to Rainey for an amazing engine as well, but I think I just got to keep grinding myself.
Nothing like Vegas, and you're taking to it like a boat to water. Congrats, Mossy. Let's go back just a little bit further here, see if we can get Adrian Renedin, and I believe he is already there. He is. Oh, see, I'm being a problem here because I'm holding up the scales, but I'll make it quick, my friend. First time in Vegas, you end with a podium. I know you had P1 results in there so far this weekend, but talk to me about your emotions first time out.
Nothing to say, huh? We lose. That's it. That's part of the game.
Well enough. Congrats, Adrian.
A very concise and clear interview there from Adrian Renedin. Clearly not happy with that run.
Listen, that happens a lot of the times. There's a lot of emotion here. For Jackson, of course, when you're starting at the front of the order, it gets progressively more disappointed as you work your way backwards, right? Yeah, there's some guys that drive forward, but you're not always going to get a happy driver here. And, of course, I think Adrian expected to be there battling for the race win. Did not happen. In fact, Valiante, as Massimo had said, had made a big move right when we were moving to the interview with Koa Saito. He had made that move into turn number 10. Had that stuck, he may have been able to stay with Gulick. That move obviously kind of checked things up, allowed Gulick to get that gap that he never never got rid of. He was able to maintain that. So had the pass got done there early, I think Valiante would have been there. He would have been in a better spirits as well. But again, that's what's going to happen. As you know, you and I both worked IndyCar paddocks before. Yep. You're not always going to get the most happy interview at the end of a race.
No, you are not. But nevertheless, a very happy driver there for Jacob Gulick. All right, folks, we're going to be back with you at about 11:05. Got about 15 minutes of a break. So we're going to rest our voices a little bit. We're going to go out and we're going to head to some commercial breaks. And we'll be back with you at near the start of VLR Masters and Supermasters.
TSG 5 Star is proud to sponsor Nicholas Bazzani at ROK Vegas. Just like racing takes grit and vision, we bring the finest hardwood, laminate, and vinyl floors to homes and showrooms where excellence is the only option. TSG 5 Star, premium flooring, exceptional service.
ROK the Rio is an international event, and all of the biggest teams in the country come out here to race each other.
I mean, I love karting because it's all I've known since age 8.
It's the best sport out there. It's extremely hard to master. You're always learning something. You got to be on your game on all fronts, or you're not running up front.
I became very religious the last couple laps.
Further back, there's contact against the wall.
I'm out of the first turn on the last lap and I smacked the wall. I'll tell you, the last lap was full of emotion and cried like a baby.
So to win Vegas, you just have to be perfect. You not only have to be extremely fast, but you simply cannot make mistakes.
Vegas, if I could win again, means a lot. I have all my family that come out for that race, so when everyone's there, there's a bit more pressure, but it means a lot. It's the Super Bowl at karting.
We have a chance at winning, but we are going to have to work at it.
It's still the biggest race that I've ever won as far as the bucket list item.
Welcome back to the Rio. We get ready for Masters and Super Masters. Rob, this is going to be a fantastic field. We've seen them fighting out all weekend, but it's going to be a good one here today.
Yeah, obviously rolling through the schedule pretty cleanly here in the morning. The ROK Cup USA officials elected just to go with it. The drivers were all on the grid and set to go, so we are indeed rolling about 10 minutes early here for this event for the drivers in the VLR Masters and Super Masters category. Up front, we've got some fantastic drivers getting ready to roll. Renato Jader-David, multi-time winner of this event and multi-time winner of many street circuit events here in North America. Renato Jader-David for Orsilon Racing starting on the pole in the 725. He'll launch alongside Ben Cooper in the number 731. Cooper, former winner as well for Rollison Performance Group. Our top driver in Supermasters, Mario Barrios for RPG, will be starting in the third position alongside Lauren 2 Mardan, the Techno USA driver. So Barrios and Mardan on row number 3. Eric Molinati and Kyle Hayner will be on row number 3. Molinati's worked to get himself quicker throughout the weekend. We know Kyle Hayner can get the job done. He's been up front already with the heat race win. Charlie Fonseca and Eric Jackson will be on row number 7. Fonseca, a Masters driver, Jackson Supermasters. Another heat race winner, Ryan Kasner, the number 711, starting in the 9th spot alongside Alexander Dalbon, while Junaid Din and Matthew Meach will occupy row number 6. Row 7, Joshua Daly and Daryl Redland. Row 8, Javier Nasir and Paul Elefante. Row number 9, we'll see Tim Meyer alongside Miguel Mir. Both these drivers having some issues early. Watch for them to work their way potentially onto the podium in Supermasters. While as we go to the next row to cap off the top 20, Ryan Molina starting 19th alongside Sergio Rodriguez in 20th. Chad Wallace will start 21st alongside Ming Jiang Yu, and then Luis Quinones and Juan Cantu on row number 12. Field working its way down the back straightaway. Paul Bonilla, top 5 pace early on, will start 25th. Work to do for him. He'll start 25 alongside Kevin Yee, while Andres Fonseca and Andre Isaac will be on row 14. Rest of the field, Craig Vasquez, Ben Padgett, Kyle Armstrong, Scott Falcone all the way back in 32nd. He has a lot of work to do to get himself forward. Carlos Reyes and Blaine Arup round out a massive 34-car field. So great to see all these Supermasters drivers here, 45 years of age and older, 32 and up for the regular Masters category. Field set, lights out. Green, 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 and they'll roll into turn number 1, and RJD Renato Jader-David will come away with the lead.
Jader-David going to hold on to it. It was a street fight there between Cooper and Barrios as they tried to hold on. Lorenzo Martin also trying to get up involved in that as well, but the battle right on between Cooper and Jader-David up for that top position. Down to dive into turn 8 for the first time at speed. Moves farther back in the field. Big moves getting sent there. And it looks like everybody is through cleanly at the moment. We'll wait to see as they get onto the back straight away.
Yeah, indeed, these Masters and Super Masters drivers all trying to get through that first lap, right? Get yourself settled in, get a couple of spots if you can, but otherwise, get that first lap done, find out where you are, assess the situation, and then go to work. Here comes Ben Cooper. He's been working all week to try to get this kart the way he wanted to be. Let's see if he's there in the main event. Had trouble, as we know, during the warm-ups. Didn't really get a chance to get a lot of laps in. Every time I spoke with him, it was, we tried something, it wasn't right. We tried something, it wasn't right. Is that a failure? No, because every time you try something, even if it's wrong, you learn something, right? And for a guy like Ben Cooper, they just kept learning what the engine needed, what the chassis needed. He's all ready to P1. And I'll tell you, if you're racing against Ben Cooper, that's the last place you want him to be.
And Jader-David making a quick little engine adjustment there. Just maybe tuning out that engine, getting a little bit more air, maybe a little bit less. We don't know exactly what he's doing to it, but He's going to push his way ahead. It's parting breakaway here from about first back to 8th. This race, of course, brought to you by Rocket Racing Company, and these races provided for free on YouTube. Very happy to be able to do that for you. Move for third place position. That was Molinari trying to send a move on Barrios, and I think he got it done.
Yeah, that was a fantastic move for Eric Molinari. Again, that move we saw in a couple of the races already earlier. You come into turn 1, you dive to the bottom of the track and get that run down into 1 and 2. So indeed, Molinari's been able to get himself up into the 3rd spot. We talked to him, Jackson did yesterday, and he talked about the fact that he was just getting better and better. He was really happy with the progression of their setup and how every race seemed to be a little bit better. Not for this driver, the 782 off the racetrack already. That's a shame.
That's Ryan Molina.
Yeah. Tough one for Molina. Tail the field. You never want to see that happen early on. These drivers here, these Masters drivers, they're here to have fun and go back to work on Monday. I hate to see them miss the entirety of a main event.
Yeah, moves in the back there from Fonseca and Martin. I think Mario Barrios maybe finding himself a little bit out of sorts here. Remember, he is the lone one of those super masters up in the top 8 right now in this leading group. It's good for him because he's got enough gap. As there's a move coming up into the inside for the 732. That's Kyle Hayner. You mentioned him earlier, Rob. We know he's got speed.
So, indeed, as essentially one of the top drivers in the Super Masters category, Mario was kind of between the 8th and 12th spot. That's where he was. We saw Scott Falcone be up front early on, but Mario, that's kind of where he was. But you're right, you can run in with those drivers in the Masters category, let them carry you along a little bit, a little insulation from those coming by. This time, however, Barrios has dropped to the tail of that lead group, 7 Masters drivers in front of him. Now he's got about a second on Eric Jackson, who's dialed things in as well. And Eric Jackson, Tim Meyer behind him. These drivers, no stranger to winning races, so we're going to have a good battle, I think, overall before it's said and done in the Super Masters category.
Yeah, this is going to continue to percolate, continue to be a great little battle, but while we watch, we head down to our man on the ground. That's Jackson Lambros in pit lane.
So let's talk about what makes that difference between a top ace in senior division and a well-seasoned master driver. Talked to Kyle Hayner yesterday, and it's simply, he described it as 4D chess because, like we're seeing on the front straightaway here, I can make moves to a guy on the inside. They won't flex. They won't go to the inside to defend. Everybody is so well-read in anticipating those moves. It's hard to sell dummies, to try and pump fake people. That is what separates, DJ, a master from a senior.
That's a really good point made by Jackson there. I mean, we talk so often about, particularly in car racing, a little bit more trying to fill the mirrors, poking your nose this way and that way. You obviously don't have mirrors here in karting, but you do have the periphery. You can sense when a driver's behind you. And these masters, these super masters, they're not going to get scared by somebody poking to the inside.
Well, I think you lean that towards experience, right? Because the bottom line is this. You have a lot of these junior drivers, who are 13, 14 years of age. They've been racing for what, 6, 7, 8 years? There are guys here that have been racing for 30 or 40 years. Ben Cooper is in his early 30s, right? He's been racing since he's probably 7 or 8 years old. He's got 25 years of experience, not 6 or 7. So these guys have been racing since they've been kids. So many of these guys, this is what they do. This has been their lifetime thing. I race go-karts. I didn't try to go to cars, right? This is my deal. I love racing cars. So you're not going to, as he said, sell a dummy or pump fake somebody because they've had so much experience. Thousands on thousands of laps on the racetrack. They've been in these battles before. So, yeah, you're going to when you make a pass on a top-level Masters driver, it's well done because these guys have the experience to defend.
Yeah, they know what they're doing, and certainly a driver that knows what they're doing is Ronald Johnny DeVede, who just continues to stalk behind Ben Cooper. This was kind of the prize fight. Oh, big pile up there in the back. That's the 721 involved. I see multiple carts, including the 11 as well.
I hate to see that a bunch of drivers together, the 721, the 729, Sergio Rodriguez, Luis Quinones, a number of drivers together there as we're 7 laps into this with a long way to go. Probably the result of somebody making a low percentage move to the inside and potentially collecting a lot of drivers in the process.
Yep, just getting caught out. Now as they work their way through turn 13, we just continue to wait and watch. This breakaway up at the front of the field, really about 8 cars. Mario Barrios is losing a little bit of touch with the cars in front of him, but crucially for Barrios, he does have about a 1.2 second gap between himself and Tim Meyer, so that's good. That's that Super Masters category that he wants to stay on top of. Working their way up at the front of the field is Jada David and Ben Cooper, just waiting for this to fire off into a full-fledged battle.
Picking up the guy back there in fourth position, Charlie Fonseca, has worked his way forward. Started 7th rather, already up into 4th. Right on the rear bumper now of Laurent Mardan. Just turned fast lap of the race. This is a guy to watch for sure. Fonseca drew the ire of a couple drivers throughout the heat races with some contact, and there was some unhappy people on the track, which all that says to me right now is he's aggressive, and if he's got to go forward, he will. Speaking of aggressive, there's the move for Jada David. He makes a move to the inside of Ben Cooper, and to get it done and stop the over-under, he really pinched on the exit, and that checked up on Cooper, who loses a spot now. Laurent Mardan, the Techno USA driver, into P2.
He's into P2, and I don't think Ben Cooper's done with this yet. He's definitely right up behind Mardan. Kind of the loser in that is Charlie Fonseca, who wasn't able to get through, but it has also allowed for Eric Molinari to be able to catch back up through this. So we've got a 5-car mini breakaway up at the front of this pack. Kasner, Hayner, and Barrios. Kasner and Hayner really kind of running by themselves, and then Barrios in an island unto himself.
Right around the halfway point here right now, David, Mardan, Cooper, Fonseca, and Molinari last time at the line. Mario Barrios leading the Supermasters over Tim Meyer, Eric Jackson, Joshua Daly, and Alexander Dalbon. But the driver coming as well from deep in the field, Scott Falcone, up 14 spots already. Started 32nd. He's into 18th overall, and I want to say he's sitting about 8th or 9th in the Supermasters category. Falco digging. Again, a long way to go, just essentially to the halfway point now. So much great battling up front, but there's lots of drivers in their own storyline digging from deep in the field, trying to get themselves back forward. Paul Bonilla plus 10 as well.
Yeah, Falcone, I think, is up into 9th as things stand in that Supermasters category. So massive kudos there to Scott Falcone. For a second, Mardan was going to have a look to the outside on Renato David, but just didn't quite play out. Again, I think he saw what happened with that stack up with Ben Cooper as they came down into turn number 5 and wants to take that high percentage move that's not going to run the risk of falling him back down through the order if it doesn't pay off.
The fighting up front there has helped a little bit for Ryan Kasner as well, right? The driver of the number 711. You see him just back there trying to close up with this front-running quintet. We had 5 drivers that potentially could have pulled away, I think, over the next 4 or 5 laps, but Kasner and Kyle Hayner both benefiting from the fight up front that checked people up a little bit. Anytime you make that move in 5, DJ, it's going to slow everybody up. That's brought 6th and 7th back in. Less than a second and a half separate your top 7 drivers.
Love to see that. And as there's a little bit of side-by-side, Ben Cooper and Mardan trying to fight itself out. And that's actually Fonseca that was able to get the move on Ben Cooper, or on Mardan, who's fallen back to 4th place. We check in real quickly with Jackson Lambros, who's got an update.
2 karts out early on. One of them, Luis Quinones, who has had a bent steering arm after contact earlier on. That's the LFB machine. Juan Cantu just frankly pooped after talking to him. The physicalness of this course getting the most of that Mexican kart CRG pilot. As I'm talking, Kevin Yi, the Chinese pilot for Nolan Bauer Motorsports, pulling into the scales as well. We'll try to get an answer for you as well. But a lot of guys out early on here in this Masters division.
High-powered karts, a lot of fast corners. That's a recipe for exhaustion.
Well, I'll tell you this. So I ran the Supernaturals here on this particular racetrack back in 2022, and as a 55-year-old guy at that point, I spent 2.5 months trying to lose. I lost 15 pounds. I was working out every day to try to make sure I was able to go for that 20-lap main event, because it is physically demanding. The cheese, just the whole thing of racing at that level, heart rate so high. It's not an easy thing to do, especially if you're a driver in Masters or Supermasters. But I want to say this right now. We have 7 drivers in this lead pack now. Yep. You see the big gap back to 8th. We're waiting for the 8th place driver to come through. That's the Supermasters leader, Mario Barrios. We've got the top 7 in Masters ready to go at it. We've got probably maybe 8 laps to go. This is going to get good before it's all said and done. Cooper and Fonseca able to get by Mardan. Molinari got by as well. Ben Cooper back up on the wheel, right there on Renato David. Both these drivers have battled out for the last number of years.
Yeah, and this has been the heavyweight bout that we've been really touting this entire weekend between these two. And there you see Ben Cooper closing up to the back of Jader David, not making that pass, crucially down into turn 10, waiting for that high percentage move to come across. This is good heads up, and this is the definition of a battle that is waiting to take place, because when these blows start firing off, they are going to be fast and frenetic.
Yeah, the water's starting to boil, isn't it? We've got some time. We know we've got time to say 6 laps to go here now, knowing that we're still 3 minutes plus 2 laps to the end. Again, Cooper kind of biding his time. Again, as you do this, right, you hopefully wait for this, maybe the guys to get dropped off the back. But Ryan Kasner and a heat race winner, Kyle Hayner, are right there as well. Both these guys trying to get themselves back up in it. They're biding their time right now. They're kind of being patient. But if you're a Molinari or a Mardan, even a Fonseca in third, sooner or later you're going to say, listen, I'm not winning from P3, I'm not winning from P4 or P5. Now, listen, 3 maybe, because when the pass happens, because there's going to be a pass, you can be there. But if you're 4th, 5th, or 6th, you got to start making some moves.
Yeah, and you've got to hopefully do it in a way that's not going to cost you time. That's the give and take here that they have to balance when they try to make these moves. 2 minutes and 5 seconds there or thereabouts left on the clock, plus, of course, those 2 laps. Cooper holding in behind down into turn 5 or turn 8. Nobody making the move as they fly through turn 9 right now. I don't think anybody's close enough to send a big move down into 10 either. Cooper is, but decides not to.
Yeah, you know, Ben biding his time, which I love hearing. Being super patient, right? He's not ready to go yet, and I think I don't know that he wants to lead on the final lap. We'll see, because he may make a move. The thing is, like we said, on this racetrack in turn 8, you need to be wide open. You open up a lot of the corners here, 5 and 8 primarily, to get that fast race lap. RJD already made a big move on Cooper. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to sit here in second. I'm going to bide my time, and we'll see how it plays out over the last 2 laps. And again, Ben Cooper, veteran driver. There it is. Yeah. Wondering when he was going to go. Last 2 laps, no. He is ready to go to the lead. And Jader David slots back into second spot. Here comes the defensive line. You see a slower cart, one of the lap carts further up there. You know, the one thing about this here is that by going by RJD, now he puts him into the clutches of Charlie Fonseca. And Fonseca, aggressive as we know, down to the bottom of the racetrack. Look at Kasner and Hayner at the top. They're ready to pick up the garbage. Couple laps still to go. This is going to get good in Masters.
Yeah, big defensive lines here from Cooper. Doesn't stop Jader David. Fonseca with the double over in contact. That's going to take out multiple cars.
Yeah, RJD and I think Molinari, both those Orsolon racing cars, I believe, out of the race. Fonseca goes to the lead. Mardan into second. And I think that might be Kasner. Now up into the 3rd spot. Hayner 4th. Cooper goes back to 5th. Big move to the bottom of the racetrack there for Jader David, but he was super tight going in. Wasn't able to get the car to rotate. The chaos happened on the exit.
And that chaos was exactly what we were talking about, and you picked out that corner in particular where it looked like these Masters and Super Masters were really sending the move. 3 laps to go as they come to the line. Martin takes a little bit of a look to the inside of Charlie Fonseca, but it doesn't play out. Are we going to see a repeat now into turn 5? No. Everybody stays in single file order.
Yeah, Martin's entry into 1 or 2 rather was going to give up a little bit coming through 3 and 4 to 5, but more locked down his position. Larry Mardan has won some big races as well. He knows how to get the job done. Kasner right there as well. P3, Hayner gets another opportunity. Cooper right there still in the 4th spot. Not sure if Cooper's got anything right now for these guys. Can he get through? Yeah, he knows he's got to get the work done. He's going to go by. Beautiful pass on Hayner. Cooper goes to P4. Can he get the job done over a couple laps? 2 to go. It may be too little too late for Ben Cooper. Fonseca the lead. Here comes Mardan.
But Mardan not close enough to make the move, and that's not what Ben Cooper wants to see. He wants to see that battling ahead of him to allow himself to catch back up. But the separation between 1, 2, and 3 may work to the detriment of Ben Cooper. Fonseca still leads as they come down into turn 8, a little bit closer for Kasner. He's starting to close in on the back of Mardan. This could be good for Ben Cooper.
Yeah, crucially though for Fonseca, Mardan's not close enough to have to go on the defensive right now. Mardan almost thinking about trying to hold off Kasner. Mardan has got to get close enough to have him in Fonseca's head. Otherwise, Charlie's just going to run open laps. He took full advantage of the contact that took those drivers out. 1 lap to go. Mardan's got to send it somewhere. It's 4 cart lengths coming down into turn number 2. Good run through turn 2 for Mardan. He needs a couple of good laps. Fonseca running full open race laps here now. They'll work their way at turn number 5.
It's all quality lap from here on out. Ben Cooper trying to close in from P4, but up in front, it is Charlie Fonseca, and not a move there for Kasner on Martin. Cooper finally starting to close it up a little bit. We saw an incredible move from him coming down into switchback city earlier. Was that going to play out? Defensive line here for Martin. He covers it off. Not able to play for Kasner, but that's going to give Fonseca the opportunity he needs. Not seeing any opportunity for Kasner to move his way forward. Charlie Fonseca, he's going to pump his fist. He's going to come to the line. He'll take victory. Then it's Martin. Then it's Kasner.
Huge victory for Charlie Fonseca. And worked his way to third, patient behind his teammate Ben Cooper. And when Renato Jader-David made that tight move to the inside of Cooper, who was already defending to the inside of the turn 5, he was able to do the over-under and come away with a lead as the chaos happened behind him. Fonseca, Martin, Kasner, Cooper, and Hayner, your top 5. Mario Barrios coming home with the race win in Supermasters. Had a Tim Meyer, Eric Jackson, a Joshua Daly, and Miguel Mir, who was at the tail of the field in one of the heat races. Mir ends up in the 5th position. A fantastic finish in the VLR Masters category. The excitement from the, of course, chaos between Ben Cooper and Renato Jader-David in turn number 5. I'm telling you, the patience showed by Charlie Fonseca, able to make the over-under and come away with what will be a very emotional victory for that driver.
All right, we're going to go back and take a look at the replay here of that incident with Renato Jader-David down into this corner. Rob, talk us through what you see.
There's the inside move, as we said. He goes way deep into the corner, and it looked to be like, I think Molinari was trying to follow Fonseca through and potentially made contact. If we, I'd like to see that one more time. If we actually no, let's go to the interview. We can come back to that afterwards.
Nope. Here, we've got it pulled up one more time.
Here
so
it
let's
is.
Take a look.
Watch the pass coming through. Molinari's trying to follow him through, and he just makes contact, I think, with the front of maybe even with Jader-David trying to come across. So they literally got together on the exit as well.
And I love what we saw there from Jader-David, giving the thumbs up over the shoulder, kind of going, that was a racing incident. I get it.
Tough.
But we've been able to catch up with our winners. We head down to the one and only Jackson Lambros.
And just when we thought it was going to be the Renato and Cooper show out in front, it's a completely swept podium here as a new face, another RPG, but it's Charlie Fonseca on the top. My friend, a phenomenal drive from the back of the pack. Tell me about it.
Thank you very much. It was all the weekend we had problems, and all the luck came in the final. I had a clean race, no contact, so just the result is what it is, and I'm really happy with the team and all the support that we get from RPG. So thank you very much.
I know you've had to work for it this weekend. Throughout the mid-pack, you've been fighting with a lot of guys to be able to make it matter, make it count on Sunday. Where did the emotions start for you?
Well, it's the first time I've been in a 38 field of master, which is very nice. So any problem that you had to pick up a lot. I had a crash yesterday, the last hit from 17 to 6. Then I got a penalty, so I had to start 7. So I didn't know actually how it was going to be the final, but it turned out good, hopefully. So races are like this.
Phenomenal drive for you. Congrats, Fonz.
Thank you very much.
See if I can grab Ben Cooper here really quickly, who unfortunately will discount that streak for him. Still RPG out in front, but not the guy you wanted to have out there. Tell me about what was missing for you there today.
I don't think much, just the way the cookie crumbled a little bit, you know, like it's so hard racing these 100cc's. It's like Briggs L0206 on steroids, you know, you can't really get away. The goal was to try and brake at the start, and I felt like I had the pace to pull away, and then, you know, once their tires come in, they just suck back up in the draft in the slipstream. So like it was just managing the race. I knew I had to get close to Jada going into the back section because we were matching everywhere around the track. We were the same, but I was a little bit quicker through the chicane and made that move, and then I knew I had to go defensive, you know, because he was going to go straight back in. And I think what happened there was kind of just one of those things, racing instant. Like Jada, he went up the inside of me, which was a fair move. Probably more for the last lap than where he was, but yeah, it was me that started that chaos. So it's respected. It's normal as part of it. And then I think it's Eric that came through and he just clipped my front bumper, and then unfortunately those two got collected as well. It's one of those things. 3 into 1 doesn't really work out, but we're all going for the same part of the track. There's no hard feelings there. It's just that's part of racing. And I'm super happy Charlie has got the win. That was great. He was right out there with us. It's not like he fluked it. Like he was there with us all weekend. He's had some bad races, but he's been quick from practice one. So I'm super happy for the team. Super happy for Charlie. Yeah, RPG wins again, which we're very happy about.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
DJ.
Great updates there, as always, from Jackson Lambros, and really love hearing that from Ben Cooper, that kind of breakdown of that incident.
Class act, first and foremost,
Yeah.
Ben Cooper. But yeah, 100% just giving us really that driver's eye view of it, right? We saw what we could from the camera angle. But again, we saw that Renato Jadre made the move to the inside. He tried to cut back in. Great run for Fonseca. And our Eric Molinari probably came a couple inches from rolling out of there in P2. To be honest, he almost was able to get through there. It didn't happen with the contact for Cooper. But again, great insight from Ben, exactly what happened over in turn number 5.
Exactly. And Jackson is not done. He's got up with more of our podiums.
Ryan Kasner, we talked yesterday. We thought you had the opportunity to make it work, and come Sunday, you did, but it took a lot. What are the emotions off rep for you?
Oh, man. I guess to start out, just gratuity to everybody that put this event on. The support I got behind me, starting off with Laney Benjamin, Isaiah, Mike Smith working some data for us, Al, just a great support group. And the list goes on, but man, I'm ecstatic, and it's been an awesome weekend to debut kind of our pace on what we have with this kart, and just being in this group has been absolutely great in a learning experience. Like our discussion before we came out on the track was consistency. That's what we're looking for. We weren't looking to set fast lap. We weren't looking to go fast. It was just, can we repeat the number, and can we stay there for when the incident happens?
Smaller team, lesser known chassis, and a field full of world champions. For you to get yourself on the podium in a field this stacked, what does that mean to you guys?
It means the world. Like it means we're going in the right direction, and we can come out and compete. It doesn't matter, team size. Like, a lot of people put a lot of effort in, and it comes down to the effort and consistency. If you can go out there, you match effort, and you've got the consistency, you can come out here and do it. You don't have to be under a huge tent. You don't have to have 15,000 people looking at video and data. You get one dedicated person. You get yourself, somebody spinning wrenches. It's all possible. It's just how much effort and how much energy do you want to put into it.
Phenomenal drive, a great, I don't want to call it underdog because you were making moves there, but a phenomenal story, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
P3 for Ryan Kasner, DJ.
That's got to be a happy driver there, and especially you heard it. I love Jackson being able to highlight that smaller team, kind of the underdog story. Always what we love to see in the world of motorsport.
Yeah, Ryan Kasner there on that best kart, doing a great job, and I had a chance to race with him the year that I did race at the Supernats. Ryan and I raced together quite a bit during that week. Fantastic guy, and good to see him put that best kart onto the podium here at ROK Vegas. Very happy. Listen, that's the kind of the excitement, the emotion you want to see, right? There are massive big tents. We know the big operations, right, that are here. But again, I always say the go-kart doesn't know how it gets to the racetrack, right? It can come in a hauler. It can come in the back of a pickup truck. Like you said, a driver, someone spinning the wrenches, and someone doing data with you. That's all it takes to get the job done.
Yes, it does. And Jackson getting the job done down on the scales. He's got some more interviews lined up for us.
I've got the whole podium assembled now with this man right here, Laurentiu Mardan, another come up to the front kind of driver. And we've seen a lot of people retire early. Can you kind of share with us just how physical it was out there for you?
I feel quite good. Actually, I'm not getting any fatigue or something. I'm well prepared, but yeah, it's not easy, obviously, for everybody. For me, it's just another day in the go-kart, so I feel good. Yeah.
Obviously, part of the appeal for Vegas is the international appeal. So many drivers we see come from outside of the States, outside of North America. For you and the rest of your program, why does ROK Vegas matter to you?
So we kind of have a redemption to kind of bring back, because in 2021 we dominated every single session from practice to heats, qualifying, everything, and we had the mechanical in the start of the final, starting pole. So I feel like we always have the speed in the front. Doesn't matter who's in the field. It's actually quite good. We have drivers of this caliber, because it's just pushing us to be better every single time. Like, it's impressive. I mean, we have some drivers here that can run senior and win. So it's, for us, it's just, it's good. It's hard, but it's good. It's good. At the end of the day, it's good.
It is difficult, and you do have a couple guys who are jumping out of this and hopping in SVs, but can you share with that? Because Kyle Hayner from HRT was telling you, you can't sell dummies on these guys. Everyone kind of anticipates the moves of guys in front of you. Just how difficult is it to battle with these guys out on track?
Obviously, in Masters, it's a little bit more ego than anything, I feel. Depends. I mean, when you run in the front with experienced guys and everything, I mean, they understand that they can give you this corner and get you in the next one, which is what I would like to race, you know, every time. If you got me this corner, I'll let you by, and then if I'm better, I'm coming back. If not, I don't deserve it. I'm not going to put you in the barrier just because I'm half a second slower just to prove you something. No. We have to race clean and then put our work, equipment, and preparation in the front. So yeah.
Congratulations, Lorenzo.
Thank you. I would like to dedicate this result to our friend Csaba Bushdozo from Checker Motorsport. We lost him a few weeks ago, and for me it was nice to win and dedicate this for him. But I will dedicate the second place for him. We miss him. Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What a fantastic dedication there for Laurent Toumardin, Csaba Bushdozo, who's been around the sport for many, many years for Checker Motorsports. His sons, of course, Andrew and Robbie. We send them our best. Csaba passed away in an incident at the Pittsburgh International Race Complex a couple of weeks ago, and we do miss that guy. He was a larger-than-life figure, no doubt about it, so a fantastic dedication there from Larry to Csaba Bushdozo. Let's get back into it here, ladies and gentlemen. Isaac Malkit set to start on the pole. This is VLR Jr. brought to you by Rollison Performance Group. Malkit will start on the pole. Impressive in the heat races and in the pre-final. Cole Medeiros, the Canadian, alongside him, starting in second. Leonardo Saravalli, another Canadian, starting third alongside Tristan Murphy, while Luca Popescu and Jackson Gibson will be on row 3. Riker Magro's been in the top 3 all weekend long. He'll start 7th here for the main event alongside Eric Doan, while Theo Salameo and Edward Kennedy will roll off from row number 5. Row 6, Bendham Abernathy alongside Nico Orbezo. Row 7, Eli Steinbrook and Valentino Santillan. On row number 8, Cole Anderson and Braden Wagner. Row number 9, Gabby Guidera and Steven Searock. Drivers working their way through here. Nixon Ellsworth and Bronston Kusas on row number 10. Max de Guzman and Karadudjian on row 11. Drew Jensen, Travis Pettit deep in 24th here, row 12. Andrew Janis and Colt Schlotthauer on row 13. Field coming around into the staging lanes. Main event for VLR Jr. Green. Malkit leads them into turn number 1.
Saravalli going to jump up into that P2, but it's not going to be easy. Medeiros, we've got a couple of carts off into the barriers there. It looks like the 832 is around. Multiple carts involved. Everybody trying to get themselves unsorted.
Chain reaction in turn number 1. One driver goes around. Everybody taking evasive maneuvers. Couple guys locking up as well. Not surprising. We've seen that happen many, many times in some of the tighter street circuits here in Las Vegas. Otherwise, those up front getting away cleanly. Little sizzle out front. Isaac Malkit doing a great job to get the lead from the get-go. And getting chased by, I believe now, the RPG driver, Luca Popescu, I think, up into second spot. Great start for Luca as he goes to P2.
That's a really good run for him. And he made that all up really through the middle of the track. Very impressive. Saravalli and Riker Magro plus Theo Salameo round out your top 5. A little bit of a breakaway here from Malkit to be expected. Malkit's been the dominant force in a couple of these races over the course of this weekend, doing double duty. We obviously saw him earlier in GP Junior. He's got that extra track time. Yes, weariness plays into it, but nevertheless, he's going to be in good stead. Battle farther back in the field here.
Drivers involved in that opening lap incident: Mason Moses, Gabby Guidera, Bronson Kusas, Andrew Janis, and I believe it may have been Travis Pettit as well. He does not come across the line to put a lap in, so tough one there for Travis Pettit. He started back in the 24th position. When you start deep in the field, oftentimes you get caught up in some chaos. Move there by both Leonardo Saravalli and Riker Magro. They're going to the inside of Popescu down into turn number 1. So put Saravalli back into second. Magro up into third. Popescu fourth. Salameo P5 here early on.
We'll see how they play out, and we'll see how they handle this corner coming down into turn 8. Big couple of moves there. Contact between, that was Salameo and Magro, but they're going to be able to sort themselves out in good stead, so that'll be okay. Let's go over to Jackson Lambros, who's got an update for us.
Yeah, guys, most cars still out on track. Travis Pettit, Bob Howden confirmed, is the only one to retire to this point. As I say that, though, the 812 in as well. And unfortunately, the kid from California, Andrew Janis, in as well. So 2 out already in our field of 40.
Again, always tough to see drivers out early. You want to give them a chance to be on the racetrack. All the work they've done since rolling out on Wednesday morning, get a chance to run the full main event in front of everybody here on Sunday. Hey, let's take an opportunity, JJ. We haven't done this yet. Let's say hello to everybody who's tuning in here on a Sunday on the ROK Cup USA YouTube channel. Hope you're having a good day so far. We are. Racing's been great. Our final run before the lunch break here. We will be back again. We'll give you the update whether or not we're going to come right back at 1:15. We're kind of a little ahead of schedule right now, so we may have an update when we come back to racing. But nonetheless, I hope you're joining us and enjoying yourself. Some great racing here from the Rio.
And look at this for Isaac Malkin, a 1.5-second advantage on the field already, and we're only 3 minutes down in this race. Saravalli trying to close it back in, but he's being hunted here by Riker Magro. I think the two of them really have to start working together here at this point. This has got to be teamwork to get themselves ahead. Popescu holds on to 4th place, train with them all the way back to 10th place with Tristan Murphy. But I think this is, you can't be doing this. You cannot be doing this from Riker Magro.
No, I'm going to throw this out here right now. Barring a mistake, they just gave the race to Isaac Malkin. He has a 1.5-second lead. You just can't do that. Look at the lead he has right now, and they're going to keep racing. And listen, this is always the mindset change. As soon as they flick to battling for second and trying to win second, as opposed to right in the race, the leader's gone. Isaac Malkin out by 2.499 seconds already. Just set fast lap of the race. Open racetrack, he is gone.
Yeah, he is. And so the battle now is on for P2, as it does look like Saravalli has been shuffled down into P4. It's Magro, it's Popescu, I believe, as they run. Yes, that is what it is. So they're going to be in that sort of position here. And as you said, Rob, it's now the battle for P2.
Yeah,
P1's gone.
Yeah, you can't do that. He had a 1.5-second lead before they made that dive bomb move. I know Magro wanted to get himself to the front, but at some point when you have a leader out front, you're still thinking about actually winning the race. We got to work together. You got to reel that guy back in. And I talked a little bit about the fact that the way this track lays out, there's not a lot of draft. Well, Ben Cooper gave us the insight there. He called the 100cc the Briggs 206 on steroids. It's the same thing. You can't get away because the draft does come to play. Big defensive move, Popescu trying to hold off Medeiros. But the bottom line is there is a bit of a draft. And if you're not going to work together on it, these guys are all battling for second now.
Yeah, and may even be battling for third because Riker Magro's looking in the back of this and saying, I'm loving it. Good move from Medeiros. Medeiros moves himself up into P3, and then I believe it's Popescu in P4. Yes, it is. Eric Doan tried to get involved in that incident, coming down in through turn 9, not able to make it play. Let's see if there's a poke to the inside of turn 5. No, they're going to keep orderly here for the moment, but still plenty of time left to go.
I want to throw this out there because I'm not really sure how much it plays, but at the start of the day in the warm-up, David Cole was down on pit lane, of course, managing editor of eKartingNews.com, and noticed that a bunch of drivers were going out on sticker tires. So, hey, ask a couple guys, why are you running a brand new set of stickers for a warm-up? Most of the guys we talked to said, we've got these, we're just going to get a feel for what the car feels like the first couple of laps, on stickers. We also talked to Marcus Malkin, who is Isaac's dad, who's working with Mike Doty and Greg Bell this weekend. They were scuffing tires. They used the race tires to scuff those in during the warm-up, get a couple, he only did 2 laps and pulled in. Cleaned the tire off, there's that molding compound. Again, you scuff a set of tires, it goes through a heat cycle, they're going to last a little bit longer. But was the concept of potentially to make sure he was going to have a little bit more grip on the first couple of laps, right? Already gripped up a little bit, cleaned off a little bit, didn't have to warm the tires up enough. Is that a play that potentially worked to Malkin's advantage to allow him to stretch away early?
That could be. Good run here, by the way, for Theo Salameau. Good run down to the inside. I want to take a look here. This is P1 coming across the line. Rob, take a look at Riker Magro. I think that bumper's pushed down.
Let's have a close look. We come back around, and he just goes back into the second position right now as Cole Medeiros has moved through. The Canadian driver Medeiros now up into second. Still Isaac Malkin putting fast laps out front, and the lead now 4.4 seconds, all but long gone. But Medeiros has gone to second, watching that thing flop around a little bit. Maybe, yeah. There's a little bit of action in that for sure. It's a possibility that we may see a pushback bumper penalty for Riker Magro. There's been a lot of pretty aggressive racing, as we know, in this fight for what is now second, third, fourth, and fifth. The final 4th place on the podium is, again, barring any kind of a technical issue, Isaac Malkin is gone. 4.4 seconds, call it 4.7. He is just stretching away right now for Malkin.
And nice move there from Eric Doan down into turn 2. Made it play. Now a little bit of a battle between, I believe that's Popescu and Salamau, trying to sort themselves out for about the 5th place position. All these battles, this is the situation. They know it's gone. Popescu now sending a move down to the inside. That is to the inside there of Serravalle.
I think Magro.
Yeah, Magro. Yep. Magro's fallen down through the order that much, courtesy of that 1 or 2 passes.
Yeah, a couple guys got by him, and then you're on the back foot, right? You're left, you're right. People are going by you. Magro lost a couple of spots there. The guys on the move right now are Medeiros and Doan. Eric Doan stepping things up again. He's reeled up to the bumper of Medeiros. I think, And in fact, look at the inside of turn 1. No. Thought better of it, tucked back in behind again. 2nd and 3rd pulling away. Hey, listen, if they give themselves a couple of laps, we're 6 minutes away from the 2-lap side. Give yourself 2 or 3 laps right now to pull away, like this driver has done on that LN kart. What a fantastic drive for Isaac Malkit out front. Again, 5 seconds up. This is a Sunday cruise.
He can absolutely back off at this point and just coast his way in. This is really impressive for Malkit. Yes, there's battling going on behind him with Medeiros and Doan and Salamao and Popescu, but at the same time, this is a commanding drive from this young man.
Yeah, he could cruise, but he's turning lap times into 42.4s. He's 2.3 of a second faster than anybody on the racetrack. Lap 11 needed a 42.405, which was the fastest lap of the race. Backs it up with a lap less than 0.05 of a second slower, 42.451. All by himself on the racetrack, 12 laps down. Still a lot to go for Isaac Malkin. Man, this kid is flat dominating the action right now. Medeiros and Doan, they're giving chase in 2nd and 3rd. They are 100%, as you said, battling for the final spots on the podium.
Yeah, and we saw that cart getting pushed to the side. That was Leonardo Serravalle. I'm not sure what happened to him there, but he is out of the race. One of the dominant forces that we have seen over the course of these VLR sessions.
Tough one for Serravalle. Remember, he put the car on the pole for both the GP Junior and VLR Junior categories. He was a dominant factor in all of the heat races. But that happens sometimes, whether it was a mechanical or some kind of contact with another driver. Leonardo Serravalle, the very talented young Canadian driver, down the order, will officially be classified in, somewhere around 37th position, barring any penalties.
You hate to see that there. Somebody who's had such a great weekend here at ROK Vegas. Medeiros and Doan starting to form a little bit of a breakaway up in that P2 position. This is the rest of your podium. Right now, Salamao, Popescu, Magro, Murphy a little bit farther back. Popescu leading that little 3-car train, so that's really picking up the scraps here. I think those 3 need to definitely not be scrapped and stay in line and hope to be able to close in on this podium.
Yeah, those are the fight for the last spots at the podium, right? There's top 5 drivers here on the podium for ROK Vegas. So Popescu, Salamao, and Magro fighting it out potentially for the last couple of spots. Although you can see Popescu kept putting the head down, trying to get more speed. Let's see if whether or not one of these drivers steps up here and the pace starts to come in later in the race. Popescu trying to close up on Doan. Last time by, he actually lost about 0.3 of a second, so the gap is a little more. We'll see when they come back across the line here. Let's look at lap times to find out what we got up front. Malkin's already through. 42.66667. Everybody's separated by about 1/10 of a second.
Remarkable stuff, and I think Jackson Lambros may have an update for us on exactly what happened to Leonardo Serravalle.
I do not have an update for Serravalle just yet. Talking to a ROK associate, Jason Ewers, about what might have happened there. I do have an answer on Edward Kennedy because he is out as well. Was very emotional behind the wheel of that Speed Concepts machine. That is a brake failure for the 888, and for a guy that wrecked out earlier in GP Junior, it's been a rough Sunday for that kid, guys.
When it rains, it pours, and Edward Kennedy, one of those names that we kind of circled as a little bit of a dark horse heartbreak for him.
Let's highlight a couple of the drivers who have really come to the forefront here. Jackson Baldus from 40th up into 22nd, plus 18 for him. Amazing drive for Jackson. Plus 10 for Isaac Payne, started 26th, he's up to 16th. Plus 15 for Kason Hodge, started 30th, split the difference, running top 15 right now. And then a little further up, Sebastian Hauser started back in 29th. How about plus 18? He is up into 11th from 29th, knocking on the door of a top 10 for Sebastian Hauser in the HRT 841.
Oh, that is a great run for Sebastian Hauser. Love to see that up at the front of the field. Well, farther back in the field, let's say, because Malkut is just in another time zone at this point. Medeiros and Doan continue to hold on, but I want to give credit here to Luca Popescu. He's kept this gap close. It hasn't run away from him, and they're within striking distance if Doan tries to make a move.
Yeah, he was faster on the last lap too, DJ, and significantly, 6 or 7 hundredths of a second. Right now, Popescu back by only 0.5? A little over half a second back. You keep checking away there. So remember, keep yourself close enough for when Medeiros and Doan start the battle. The minute they go side by side, let's say it happens in turn number 5, which we know checks everybody up, he could be right back on top of it. So he's digging to close up that gap. You've got to stay close enough to be there to pounce when we start the fight.
Yeah, and I love what Luca just did there. It's that duck of the head, that he's still pushing, he's still going for it, he is still busting as hard as he can to get his way into that position. You love, love, love to see that. For Doan here, though, we're going to be coming to the line here, I think 3 to go.
Here's the one thing about Popescu, too. Because they're slowly catching visually the driver behind him, Salameo doesn't have that urgency. Like, he needs to go by and be, listen, we're not catching him. I'll do it. They are slowly getting there right now. Just a little bit and a little bit. And again, another couple hundredths of a second on that last lap. So at least it's keeping Salameo from making a big move to potentially lock them down a little bit.
Yeah, it's keeping things together as they run, and that's always good to see. There we see that second and third battle. Working our way back through the order, going to give some love. This is a great little train farther back in the order. This is around for 11th and 12th position.
That's Hauser.
Yeah,
that's Hauser who's come all the way up, as we said, from 29th. So Hauser has got a battle right now. It's a move to the inside there, a little further back as well. Who was that going by? Was that Nico Orbezo potentially by? Great scrap here, just outside the top 10.
Yeah, and this is where the action's really starting to fire off a little bit, trying to get that top 10 position. The 841 working his way through. Hauser gets past on the under from Orbezo, but this battle is nowhere near done yet. Here they come. Oh, a little bit of side-to-side contact between Orbezo and Hauser. Down to the inside they go, and it looks like Hauser's going to be able to get the advantage for now. Oh, but they're still bumping and banging and bumping as they come down through a switchback city and onto the front straightaway. Going to try to get themselves sorted. The 2-lap-to-go sign has been shown, and Hauser just trying to hold off Orbezo down to the inside, and he's got the move for now, but Hauser not done yet.
Good fight for the 11th, 12th, and 13th spots. Isaac Malkin out front by 7.2 seconds. This kid flat dominating here in VLR Junior. Fast lap of 42.357 just a lap ago. Backed it up with a 4.40. Fantastic drive. This kid's in another zip code right now. You can't even see anybody else on the screen. Over 7 seconds up. The battle for second, though, is going to get big time here. Cole Medeiros and Eric Doan on top of each other. They'll roll into one right now as well. We're keeping an eye there on Malkin. He's out front, but wait for that group to come through here. The leader is gone, but here's second, third, and look at Popescu in fourth. He's closed up onto Doan. Good final lap here. DJ, the fight for P2.
It's on in a defensive line from Medeiros. He knows the attack that can come here from Eric Doan as they line through turn 9 for the final time. He looks to this way, and here comes a move from Popescu, trying to go a long way around into turn 10, but they'll all stay in single file order. Muscling his way on through is Eric Doan, and that's going to allow for Popescu to come on through. No, there's big contact. Carts around farther in the back of the field. Malkit will take victory. You see the upset from Medeiros, and Riker Magro and Tristan Murphy will pick the pockets of those in front of them and take the rest of the podium.
Cole Medeiros can't believe what happened there. Doan made a nice move, and we'll see the replay in a bit here. Doan made a move to the inside at turn number 11. They got sideways. Of course, Medeiros coming back across the racetrack, got to the inside. He got pushed from the back. Someone got into the back of Medeiros when they came out of turn number 12. Those drivers went off the racetrack. Again, everything essentially boiled over in for second, third, fourth, and fifth. They stacked them all up in turn number 12. You saw that Doan went off the racetrack, Medeiros off the racetrack. Tough one for those drivers who were en route to a podium finish. Magro ends up being the benefactor. He goes to second, Tristan Murphy to third. Benham Abernathy coming home in the 4th spot. Jackson Gibson rounding out the top 5. Popescu pushed down to 6th spot. Doan down to 8th. And as we know, Cole Medeiros out of the race.
Yeah, unfortunate there. We're going to take a look at that replay really quick of what happened coming down into turn 13. Rob, what do you see?
So here comes Medeiros back across the racetrack. You see Popescu on the outside, but the driver from the inside trying to make the move is the 851. That was the contact there coming through, and those drivers
that was
off the
Salameo.
racetrack. That was Salameo. So he saw the opening to the inside. There probably wasn't much. Threw it to the bottom. He and Medeiros got together. Just a super tough finish. Listen, there was 5 carts trying to go into about a 6.5 foot box. It just was not going to happen.
It wasn't going to happen, but it always was going to happen for Isaac Malcutt, our victor. And Jackson Lambros has been able to catch up with him down on the scales.
And in dominant fashion here, Isaac Malcutt takes off like a cannon, and a former Rockfest East winner gets his first one here in Vegas. Isaac, I know there's not a lot of emotion on the surface, but underneath, what's the feelings?
Yeah, I feel really happy. I've won Rock Vegas 3 times, actually, and I got penalized last year due to some contacts, but I'm very happy, and I'd like to thank Mike Doty, Leading Edge, OTK, P1 for the amazing engines, and Odendahl Racing Products.
You've got a lot of people behind you for everything to align at once here when it matters most. How satisfying is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, it feels really good. We didn't even touch the cart all weekend. We just showed up out of the box and just ran it and was able to pull away from everybody and beat them.
Congratulations, Isaac.
Yep, thank you.
Jason, I want you to follow me over here because there's another guy who has been fighting really hard all year long for his first national level win in Rock, and it's Tristan Murphy right here with the with Ryan Perry Motorsports. If we can have you come over here really quickly, my friend. You've been fighting hard for it. We saw you flex your muscle in Florida Winter Tour earlier on this year. It was handed to you at the end there, but I know you were fighting for it. How does it feel to get on the podium?
Feels great. I'm very surprised on how that ended up. I didn't quite have the pace to run them back down, but ended up in my favor.
Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
Going to walk back a little bit more here to Mr. Margot, and I know, sir, there was some emotion a couple days ago with the technical complications you had in the heats, but those emotions show me just how much you wanted to stand on the podium here. How satisfying is it that you got it done?
Yeah, I had no pace during the race, but luckily they crashed all at the end, so super happy about that.
I know you came a long way here from north of the border to get it done. Anyone you want to thank here?
I'd like to thank JMF Motorsport, Bradson Bashi, my mechanic John, Leonard for helping me out, my coach David, and P1 Engines.
Congratulations, Riker.
Thank you.
And that'll do it for us here in the AMs. We're going to step aside for just a little bit, get some food, and we'll be back for our second half of classes. For DJ Clark and Rob Howden, I'm Jackson Lambros. See you in a little bit.